Fala pessoal, muito boa noite, quase madrugada, né, praticamente. Vão chegando aí, vão deixando like, vão se inscrevendo no canal. Muito obrigado também pela presença de vocês a essa hora aqui com a gente no Super Lutas. Já teremos a coletiva de imprensa. Vamos ver o que o Dana White vai falar sobre o evento, se ele vai anunciar alguma luta nova. Vamos ver o que o Aljamain vai falar agora que ele é o novo rei da divisão peso galo. Se o Aljamain vai deixar o orgulho de lado, né? Se ele está de boa lá e vai marcar presença na coletiva. Teremos também, é claro, a presença da Zhang Weili, ou Weili Zhang, seja lá como vocês chamam. Não sei se a Amanda vai também marcar presença, mas enfim, vão chegando aí, que tem bastante coisa legal para a gente acompanhar hoje na coletiva, com certeza. Vamos ver aqui quem está no chat lá. Boa noite, Brasil nerfado, Thiaguinho da capital, meus machos, Gabriel Firmino, valeu, Gabriel, pela presença, Leandro Silva, Isaac, boa noite, pessoal, boa noite. Hoje eu não participei dos comentários, fiquei na narração digitada, no TR, né? Então estou chegando aqui agora para falar com vocês, com todo o prazer de sempre. Já o Miguel chega aí, foi dar o pit stop dele antes de aparecer aqui para a coletiva, então fiquem ligados que já a gente começa a nossa tradução. Boa noite, Yuri. E aí o pessoal falando, ninguém aguentava, o Isaac falando, né? Ninguém aguentava mais o Sterling como campeão. Pois é, o cara norte-americano sendo vaiado em Boston não é muito normal, né? Mas também no meio da luta, não sei se vocês prestaram atenção, tava tendo uma torcida lá gritando a favor do campeão, então estava dividido ali. Mas quem tinha o maior apoio, com certeza, era o Sean O'Malley. E, pô, eu palpitei na vitória do Sean, mas não esperava que fosse ser dessa maneira, com um golpe perfeito que ele encaixou aí no segundo round. Achei que fosse demorar mais um pouco, achei que fosse ser uma luta mais violenta ali, mas o primeiro round foi de muito estudo, foi um round parelho, os dois não quiseram se arriscar tanto, e aí no segundo o Aljamain pagou caro por encurtar da maneira errada contra um as da trocação e, enfim, deu início ao fim da derrota dele e o fim do reinado, né? Estava a uma vitória de conquistar o recorde de maior número de defesas da categoria. Já era, vai ter que recomeçar do zero. E, enfim, vamos ver o que o ex-campeão agora vai decidir na carreira dele. Achei interessante que ele falou na entrevista para o Joe Rogan depois que ele vai pensar sobre a ida dele para os penas, né? Porque ele falou, pô, se o Sean O'Malley fez isso comigo, então imagina o que o Alexander Volkanovski faria, né? Então, não esperava uma postura dessa de um campeão que foi dominante assim, mas também está sendo humilde, né? Tá percebendo que na trocação talvez tenha que evoluir um pouco antes de querer enfrentar o Volkanovski. Boa noite aí para o mestre Marcão, tá com a gente desde do evento em si. Valeu, mestre, pela presença de sempre. Um abraço para o Cris e um abraço para o meu querido Caio Calou. Valeu, Caio, obrigado pela sua presença.
Alô!
Aqui, irmão. Que susto, Gabriel. Miguel, porra, cara. Para com isso, cara.
Foi mal. Foi mal. Desconcertei o Léo. Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, boa madrugada, rapaziada. Coletiva de imprensa já com vocês. Foi mal, Léozão. Peço perdão aí pelo susto. Mas é isso aí. É pra dar aquela acordada, aquela reanimada.
É, isso aí. Boa noite, Samuel. Boa noite, Jagai Natal. Comunicação visual tá aí também. E aí, Miguel Anjo, tu tava falando aqui que hoje eu não participei dos comentários, mas então eu quero falar um pouquinho com você sobre o evento. Gostou, cara? Gostou do Sean O'Malley como campeão?
Não esperava, né? Assim como todos, acho que boa parte do chat não esperava também. Fiquei muito surpreso, cara, mas muito surpreso mesmo com a defesa de quedas dele ali no primeiro round ali, no início do segundo. eu achei que... Não é que ele seria quedado facilmente, mas eu acho que o Sterling teria conseguido evoluir mais na posição. Mas não conseguiu. Vamos ver. Agora... Mas pô, é complicado, né? Tipo assim... Ele precisou só de uma mãozada bem conectada, sabe? O Sterling não conseguiu nem perto de recuperar. Então eu acho isso muito doideira. Isso me surpreendeu, me assustou. E como... Só falar aqui, como o próprio Dan Anderson disse hoje, disse agora ali no Twitter, você pode ensinar muitas coisas. Uma coisa que você não pode ensinar é o poder, né? A força. E, pô, um poder de nocaute não é aprendido, assim, podemos dizer. Então é surreal o poder de nocaute que ele mostrou aí nessa luta.
E antes de eu comentar aqui sobre o nocaute, vou dar uma boa noite para o nosso querido Igor Ribeiro. Xanomari campeão dominante. Existe um mundo. Saudades, meus meninos. Saudades também. Saudades máximas aí de você, Igão. Obrigado aí pela sua presença aqui na nossa transmissão. Cara, eu não sei. Eu acho que se a próxima luta do Xanomari for contra o Marlon Vera, acho que ele consegue defender aí o cinturão de boa. Mas na hora que começar a entrar os grapplers, né? Henry Cejudo, Merab, o Marlon Magomedov, aí eu acho que a parada começa a engrossar pro lado dele. Ele que me surpreendeu com a defesa de queda, né? Ali naquele momento que ele chutou e se desequilibrou e o Sterling já voou na perna dele para quedar, ele conseguiu segurar a onda bem ali, cara. Me surpreendeu bastante. Então, bom, por aí já é um começo ótimo para ele nessa nova trajetória como campeão em uma categoria que tem muita pessoa boa na luta agarrada, né? Mas também o Sterling não tentou muita queda como eu achei que ele fosse tentar. Então fica essa dúvida aí, como seria com o Merab, por exemplo, que só faz isso, que só tenta queda a todo momento, né? Que queda, não desiste. Esse é o único jogo dele. Como é que o Sean O'Malley performaria? E outra coisa também...
Seems like that's kind of the direction you wanted to go your whole time in the UFC.
No, I'm not holding off. No way. My foot's firmly down on that fucking pedal and I'm not stopping anytime soon. I believe that I can beat Wonderboy in December, whenever they want to do it, wherever they believe is best, because at the end of the day, it's not my job to say where they do that. That's what they're here for. They said they've got the Irish guy blueprint. Right, let's see it. But they absolutely have to bring me back to Dublin and Ireland. I've said it for years. I'm the guy that's going to bring them back. I'm going to relight that fucking flame in Ireland, in Irish MMA. I'm going to bring back that chaotic energy that we have. I'm going to have fans traveling the fucking world, jumping on cars, setting fucking fires, drinking the world away. I'm going to cause... Look, the Irish fans are the best in the world. And we need to relight that flame. And I'm the guy to do it.
You mentioned wanting 3 or 4 fights. I mean, obviously, it sounds like Wonderboy and Colby are 2 of those. Who are the other guys on the list before you head up to fight for the title?
Wonderboy, Colby, quem seriam os outros?
Who would you want to see?
Quem você quer que eu
It's a good question. Shavkat?
I've trained with Shavkat. I'm telling you now, me and Shavkat will be a hell of a show if that happens one day.
I know you won't fight Gilbert.
E ele seria uma boa luta.
Gilbert's my boy. I was actually going to call him out for the crack tonight. I want to fight Gilbert Burns next. Fuck you. No. I was gonna do it. I thought it'd be so funny, but I was like, no, I need to stick to business. I need to shoot my shot and get it.
Is it too late? By the way, this is the last question for me. Is it too late now for your mom to call you, or have you spoken to your family back at home?
Oh, my phone's in airplane mode, and it's not getting taken off airplane mode for about 4 weeks. I'm gonna change my number tomorrow. I'm gonna send a couple of people a text, and I'll be like, hey, this is me. Don't give my number to anybody. Yeah, I like to keep myself very private to everybody. I have a very, very close circle. I keep it tight because it matters to me.
Ian right here.
How are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
How do you think I feel? I feel fucking amazing. Top 10 in the world, baby.
Yeah. You said you don't have a mark on you. How quick of a turnaround do you want?
I think they'd want me to do MSG. And the truth is that it makes sense, but...
Isso faz sentido.
Tax.
It's
It's a lot of tax. And fuck that. Let's avoid that if we can. Avoid it like the plague. Vegas is way better. So, I love Vegas. I have so much a connection with Vegas. I got married in Vegas. I had my first baby scan in Vegas. My son's middle name is Vegas. I love and adore it. So I'd love to go back to Vegas and put on a show.
I mean, it's the biggest city in the world. The Irish crowd, you know.
I'd be excited to do it. I think that would be an awesome 5-round fight in Vegas for the fans. I'm just never finding the fucking apex. I can promise you that.
Eu nunca quero lutar no Apex, isso eu posso garantir a vocês.
A storyline with you and Magny was, Magny's never really been a trash talker. You got in his
Como é que é a
head,
história
you
entre
got
você
trash
e
talk.
Magny? Magny nunca
Now,
foi um cara
you're
de
talking to Stephen
provocar.
Thompson. I mean, that's like the good Christian guy, doesn't say bad word about anything. I mean, would you trash talk Stephen Thompson?
I could try. I have so much respect for Stephen. This is the thing. You can try. But I believe there's levels to it, right? I fucking made Jeff Neal pull out by selling his mugshot, right? I beat him. He's done. Like, I have won 2 fights in 1 fight camp here. And then Magny gave me gold. It's like someone handing you a gold bang on here. Yeah, don't drop it. It's like, obviously not. I'm going to use this. You can't sit there and say something so fucking stupid on air, on live TV, and not get absolutely slated for it. Like, and that was my goal. Like, I didn't want him to have one word spoken at that press conference because he didn't deserve it. And also, did you see the emotion? Go back and watch the press conference when Dana was like, right, we're going to wrap it up. And you look at Magny and he's fucking livid. You could see it in his body and his soul. Like, he was pissed. I got in that man's head. I pissed him off. I made him stressed. I made him angry. And don't think for a second that when he went home at night that he was livid. When he weighed in and I seen him there, that he was livid. And every time I looked at him and smiled, that he was like, oh, I want to break that kid's face. Well, what happened? He got his fucking ass handed to him. Justice is amazing.
And you mentioned, you said you want 4 fights so you can continue to build your skills. Oh, what's one area you said this is the area that I need to build to be the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world?
I think the best thing for me, I think is jiu-jitsu. I think to have world-class jiu-jitsu means that I can strike with anybody on the planet, beat anybody on the planet, and do it flawlessly. Right? And if anything goes sideways, whether he takes me down, whether I get dropped, whatever happens in life, the minute my butt touches that cage or the minute my butt touches that mat, we're grappling. Wrestling's done. So for me, world-class striking, and I want to be a world champion in jiu-jitsu. I might compete in the worlds this year in jiu-jitsu if I can as well. If I fight in December, I might compete in the worlds this year and go out and get an official world champion in no-gi jiu-jitsu. So we'll see. Because I've got it. Trust me. You guys haven't fucking seen it. I haven't shown anybody it, but it's there. And you want to ask people? Go ask Gilbert Burns. Go ask Felipe Pena. Go ask fucking
Pergunte para o
Go ask
Felipe
all
Pena,
of these
preguiça,
elite
pergunte para o
world-class
Durinho
jiu-jitsu practitioners that I've trained with.
como é que é a minha habilidade no
They'll tell you that I can
jiu-jitsu.
grapple.
Eles vão te dizer que eu consigo lutar jiu-jitsu tranquilo.
And I agree. The only negative I heard was at one point, or I think twice, you actually put your hand over the cage, and the broadcast team was saying that that's illegal. Did they?
No, I didn't put my hand over it ever.
Os comentaristas falaram que você colocou a mão por fora durante a luta. Não, eu não coloquei, eu só apoiei minha mão ali.
And my hand goes over, you're right.
Se você voltar e ver, minha mão estava apoiada.
If you go on and it's over, like a chicken wing, you're right. If it's like this, I'm right. And I'm goddamn sure that my hand didn't come down on that thing. I can promise you that. I was just chilling. He was just, there was nothing he was doing.
Relaxando meu braço em cima da grade.
I'm just going to lean here and take my time. Thank you. Let's bash it out.
If difficult fights are learning experiences,
25,
and,
Rafael,
like
25
you said, not a lot of 30-24s pop up. What can you learn from a fight like this?
No,
That I am absolutely sensational at what I do. That's the truth. I can learn that when I talk the talk and I walk the walk, that I am fucking honest to myself. And the truth is, I took that fight in 7 days' notice, and look how good I looked against a guy that I had fuck all time to prepare for. I'm elite.
Eu sou parte da elite.
Ian, back right over here.
How are you, sir?
Good, you, sir.
I'm fucking amazing.
So you had mentioned earlier in the week that a lot of people over in Europe are going to be staying up really late to watch you fight tonight. What's your message to all those people back home who are maybe on their 3rd cup of coffee trying to enjoy it?
I hope it was worth the wait. I hope we put on a show that you'll always remember. I remember being that guy that was sat at home at 5 o'clock in the morning watching Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman with my friends on the couch, having pizza, fucking drinking coffee, drinking Monster, drinking everything we possibly could to keep our body up. I'll never forget those moments. I'll never forget those moments. So I hope
that kids that are in that position,
I hope they just enjoy it as much as I did when I was in that position, because it's memories you make for a lifetime. I remember all of Conor's fights. I remember everywhere I was. I remember who I was with. I remember what I was doing, because it's emotionally invested. So I hope people are emotionally invested. I hope they feel the energy, and I hope they're going to have a fucking great night.
Thank you, Ian.
Thank you so much. Right, thank you so much. Onwards and upwards from here, if that's possible. Thank you so much.
Bom, então é isso, pessoal. O Ian Machado falando que quer enfrentar o Stephen Thompson em Nova York, no dia 11 de novembro. Falou que gosta de se apresentar em Las Vegas também, mas que não quer lutar no Apex de jeito nenhum. Ou seja, só quer estar presente em eventos numerados, na sua maioria, né? Que os Fight Nights geralmente são no Apex. E falou que deseja ser um lutador que faz as pessoas quererem ficar acordadas de qualquer maneira para assistirem um tardado à noite, né? Para tomar energético, para tomar café, assim como ele fazia quando assistiu o Conor, como ele fez quando assistiu também o Usman contra o Durinho. Então, ele quer ser uma referência no MMA.
E, pô, como o próprio chat falou aqui, você até comentou, né, a idade dele. Cara, muito novo e pela performance de hoje entregou, pô, é muito inteligente, muito consciente, sabe? Não apavorou.
Sim.
No momento que teria a oportunidade de um nocaute ali, foi bem tranquilo, foi bem pragmático, então, tipo, foi surreal, cara, foi surreal mesmo.
É isso, Miguel. Eu não sei, eu queria ver ele contra o Geoff Neal. Acho que ali seria assim um bom termômetro para a gente ver o nível do Ian Gary. O Neil Magny, pô, todo respeito a ele, o cara é um guerreiraço, topa tudo, né? Mas na trocação ele não é um exímio trocador. Ele é aquele cara que sabe fazer tudo, mas não faz nada bem, né, Miguel? Tipo, não faz nada, tipo, de referência, né? E hoje, eu não sei se ele estava com algum problema na perna, ou se aquele primeiro chute do Ian já machucou ele, mas também o cara lutou com uma perna praticamente a luta inteira, né? Então, é difícil nivelar o Ian por essa performance. Eu acho que vale mais pelo nocaute que ele deu no Daniel Rodrigues do que por hoje.
Eu entendo o seu ponto. Realmente, tipo, é que no estado que o Neil Magny estava, né, sem uma perna, sem nada, merecia uma vitória ali pela via rápida. Até o próprio Fernando Keller fez uma boa comparação, o Fernando Keller, falando sobre o que o Khamzat-Chimaev, o que o Neil Magny, o que o Khamzat-Chimaev, que o Rakhmonov faria com o Neil Magny naquela situação seria loucura, né? E Ian Gary não conseguiu reproduzir esse ato. Então, vamos ver. Vai ter que subpedir o Stephen Thompson, né, na coletiva pós-luta, na entrevista pós-luta. Vamos ver como que vai ser ele contra o Stephen Thompson, como que ele vai agir com um cara que sabe controlar muito bem a distância igual ele também, sabe movimentar, sabe bater e sair. Como ele vai agir com um cara nesse estilo, né? Porque vai ser um estilo completamente diferente do Neil Magny, que o Neil Magny é um cara da luta agarrada, de fazer a grade ali e tudo mais. Vamos ver como ele vai sair. E também, ele enfrentaria o Geoff Neal, cara. Tipo, o Geoff Neal é um outro estilo também, diferente do Neil Magny. Então, assim, a gente precisa ver ele em outros tipos de casamento de combate para ver como que ele se sairia.
Pô, Miguel, o Geoff Neal deu luta dura pro Rakhmonov, né, irmão? Foi pau a pau na trocação, fez um lutaço, acabou sendo finalizado no final? Foi. Mas deu um calorzaço lá na promessa do UFC, né? Então, acho que é por aí. Tem que ser um trocador de elite pra gente ver o nível do Ian Gary.
Eu queria ver ele em outros testes aí, vamos ver.
Bom,
A brasileira
vamos
perdeu,
dar
Marcos Black. A brasileira foi derrotada na decisão dos juízes, dominada durante o combate do início ao fim.
There is no
A
such
chinesa fez
thing
bom
as
jogo de
Dana White
grappling.
privilege in this company. You know, they can do that type of shit in boxing. If you make it to the top here, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say that some people can't catch some breaks sometimes. People are hurt. You know, this and that happens. Certain matchups can't happen at one
Dana
time.
White chegou
You got
aí,
a situation
no meio
where
de uma
Rob
fala.
won't fight the champion. I mean, there's lots of different things that can happen, but it has nothing to do with us. It's just the way that timing and everything else plays out. When you get to a title shot, you've earned it here.
What did you think of his performance?
Who?
Sean, tonight. How good did he look?
O que você achou da
How do you even
performance
want
do
me to
Sean?
answer that question? He knocked him out. In
Não
my
precisa
head,
responder
when you
isso.
think about
Ele nocauteou o Aljamain, cara.
when you think about the fight and you think about
Quando você imagina a
Sterling, you
luta
say to yourself, how does Sean beat this guy? How does Sean stop the
e
takedown?
você pensava, como é
You
que
know,
o Sean ia
he's not
derrotar
going to be
o
able to stop the
Sterling?
tape. Maybe he'll do it a couple times,
Vocês pensavam
but
que
all
ele não
night,
seria capaz
who knows?
de interromper as quedas do
You never know,
Sterling,
man. Styles make fights and things happen in
mas
fights
os
that
estilos fazem
you
as
know, you
lutas
sometimes don't expect. And
e às vezes a gente não tá esperando pelo que acontece. Bom, deu uma travada aí, mas já volta. Bom, então o Dana White está enaltecendo aí a performance do Sean O'Malley, falando que estilos fazem a luta, quem esperava que o Sean fosse ter essa performance, que ele fosse conseguir defender as quedas do Sterling como ele fez. Então tá contente aí com a vitória.
the biggest bantamweight championship fight ever on pay-per-view globally.
Essa foi a maior luta peso
Broke the
galo
record.
em pay-per-view
Biggest
na
bantamweight
história do
championship
UFC.
fight ever. I'm sure you saw
Foi
the
a maior
crowd
luta
at
do
the
peso
end.
galo.
O'Malley isn't going to be a star. He is a star.
O'Malley vai ser uma
We'll
estrela.
move on from him to Zhang Weili. Again, equally impressive, you know, domination throughout that fight. She's potentially already the GOAT in that division. What did you make of her performance this evening?
Yeah, no, I mean, like you
que você
said,
achou da
it
performance
was
da
completely
Zhang Weili?
dominant.
Ela foi completamente
Lemos was tough
dominante.
as hell. Ate a
A
lot of
Lemos
shots.
foi
I mean,
dura pra
and she
cacete.
broke a record tonight for strike differential. She actually beat
Ela quebrou o recorde
Valentina
hoje de...
Shevchenko's record. And
Ela quebrou o
I
recorde
mean,
da
you
Valentina
can't
com
win any more
boxe.
dominantly than that other than a finish. She
Essa
got out of
noite.
a pretty scary choke at one point. I mean, she
Ela
looked good.
conseguiu fugir
Especially,
de
I mean, Lemos
um
is so tough.
estrangulamento muito perigoso
And
uma hora.
Lemos hits like a man. You know what I mean? When she
E ela
throws
bate como
punches,
homem.
they have bad intentions. And she caught Weili a
Ela
few
bate
times
com
with
má
some good shots,
intenção.
and she took those too. Weili Zhang is a beast.
It's a dominating win, right?
Weili
But
Zhang
for
é uma
Lemos, it's
besta, é
like,
uma loucura.
she's so tough that her stock almost rises a bit. Okay, she might not beat the champion, but no one's putting her away anytime.
Yeah, I mean, listen, she's tough, but I mean, the scores were insane.
A
The
Amanda
strike
Lemos é
differential
dura,
and
mas a
yeah,
diferença de
she's a nice
golpes
kid. I like her,
foi
but she was
absurda.
completely outclassed tonight.
Last
Ela
one for
foi
me.
completamente dominada hoje.
Possibly the best tough finale since Bonner and Griffin.
Yeah, it was good, really good. I mean,
Hoje foi a
they
melhor
won
final
the
do
fight of the
TUF
night. So
depois de
it's pretty
Stefan
awesome when you
Bonner
have
e
a card
Forrest
stacked with
Griffin.
talent like tonight.
Sim, hoje
And
foi
the ultimate
maneiro
fighter
demais.
finale wins fight of the night. That's pretty impressive.
Obviously, the question
E a
that you've heard
luta
probably
do
3,000 times this year is
do
when do
Ultimate
we see the
Fighter ganhou a
coaches
luta da
of that
noite.
season fight? Is there an update on Conor versus Chandler?
No.
What did you make of Ian Garry's performance? He's obviously another
você achou da
budding star.
performance
He
do
seems
Ian
to have his
Garry?
plan laid out. He wants 4 more fights and a title shot. What did you make of his win
Ele
over
quer
Neil
4
Magny?
lutas antes do título. O que
Listen,
você acha?
very, very good win for him because when
Ótima
you think of how
vitória pra
tough
ele.
and durable and crafty of a
Quando você
veteran
vê o
that
quão
Magny
duro
is
o
and how
Magny
hard
é
he is to put away,
e o quão
you
difícil
know,
difícil
I
colocar
thought
o
he was a
inimigo
couple
pra
leg
fora.
kicks away from that thing being over, and he was not.
Eu achei que depois de
And
alguns chutes
Magny,
na perna
being
ele
the
fosse
stud
estar
that he
fora
is,
e não foi
he
assim.
ran out of the octagon the way that he did because I think he didn't think if he waited longer he would be able to walk out of there. That's how tough he is. So, you know,
Ele é muito
listen,
duro.
Ian is a very confident, you know,
E é muito confiante. Ian Garry é muito confiante.
when he looks back at the tape tonight and watches
Quando ele
you
olhar a
know,
gravação
how
hoje,
a crafty veteran like Magny
como
got
ele
to the
enfrentou
end of the
veterano
third
como
round, I
Magny,
think he'll learn a lot from this fight.
ele vai
And,
aprender bastante com essa
you
luta.
know, it's almost like the perfect, you know, as you look at opponents. Magny came in on late notice. He didn't train for Magny. He trained for Neil.
O Magny entrou de última hora, ele não treinou
So
para
yeah,
enfrentar o
he
Magny.
looked damn good.
What did you make of the build
Então ele
like at the press conference?
apareceu muito bem hoje à
bringing
noite.
up the things that Neil said about, like, oh, when I whip my kids, and Ian's cutting him off saying, like, oh, you don't deserve to talk after saying that. What did you make of their buildup that kind of came out of nowhere?
I don't know. That shit happens in fights, man. You never know what's going to happen, what people are going to say, or what's going to go on. You never know, where their head is leading into these type of fights, and fighting is a crazy fucking business, man. I mean, the stuff that's said, it's like when I come in here after a fight,
Ele falou que essas coisas acontecem, fazem parte da luta, que você não pode esperar a reação de algum lutador diante dessas situações.
It just is what it is. Nobody in this room, maybe, I don't know if anybody, but pretty much I would think nobody in this room has ever been, in a fight like these guys are in, and what kind of pressure, under what you're
provavelmente nunca esteve numa luta como esses caras.
It's a different world, man. It's different than playing a football game or a baseball game or anything else in life.
He obviously called out Wonder Boy and wants a 5-round main event. Wonder Boy has said, like, I'll fight the Ian Garys of the world. Is that a fight you would be interested in?
Wonder Boy turned the fight down tonight.
Okay, there you go. You talked to him right away, like right after?
A luta do Ian Gary com o Thompson te interessa?
Going further down, Cheeto
o Thompson
got
negou
another
essa
big
luta.
win. Sean O'Malley's called his shot. Like, he wants Cheeto in December. Is that something that you now have to
O Sean O'Malley disse que quer o Cheeto Vera em
Following up
dezembro.
the last question you asked me, we don't talk about fights the night of the fight.
What do you think Chris Weidman should do after
Retire.
Retire?
Yeah, I love Chris Weidman. I love him. I love his family.
Ele falou que quer que o Weidman se aposente, que ele ama o Weidman, que ele ama a família do Weidman.
MCL, ACL. He blew one of the CLs, and
Ele
guy's just
ferrou de
coming
novo o
back from
ligamento.
a gruesome injury, and listen, man,
Enfim, o
Father
Weidman
Time's
machucou
not
de
our
novo o
friend at
ligamento
all, but
dele no joelho.
definitely if you're a professional athlete, it's...
So if he comes up to you and says, I want one more fight, is that
Ele
something
quer
you
que o
say,
Weidman se
okay,
aposente.
let's talk about
Well,
this?
first of all, depending on the damage to the knee, you're talking another year.
Depende dos danos que o joelho dele
I would
teve.
say, Chris, I love you. Please retire.
Mas dependendo do que acontecer, eu vou pedir, eu vou implorar que ele se
Given
aposente.
kind of where Ian is right now in his build, do you think it's time that the UFC finally goes back to Dublin at some point with him as a headliner?
Você acha que é interessante o UFC voltar para Dublin com esse estrelato do Ian Gara? Não agora, ainda não.
I believe it was her last fight, or maybe it was when Yan Xiaonan won, that you want to go back to China this year. Is that
Você quer
something
voltar
that
para
we
a
should
China?
expect to see Weili in the
Para a
near
Zhang
future?
Weili se apresentar lá?
And then one more
Sim,
from me.
provavelmente.
We talked to Joe Lozon yesterday at a Q&A. This is the first New England card you guys have held where there's no New Englanders on it. He said that he had hit you guys up a bunch to get on this card, and that he was told
O Joe
the services
Lozon falou
weren't
que
needed.
tentou entrar nesse
It
card
wasn't
e
the
que vocês
services weren't
negaram.
needed. The card was full at the time that he was asking. We already
O
had the
card
card
estava
full.
cheio já.
Gotcha.
Já
So,
tinham
like, you're
lutas
cool with
completas.
offering him fights if he wants to fight again?
I would like Joe to retire too. You know what I mean?
Você ofereceria
It
outra
gets to
luta
the
para
point,
ele?
it's like Chris Weidman.
Não, eu
We're talking
gostaria
about
que o
Chris
Joe
Weidman a
Lozon
minute
se
ago.
aposentasse também.
Weidman reached the pinnacle of the sport and did it in spectacular fashion, knocking out
O
one of the
Weidman
greatest of all
atingiu o
time,
ápice do
right?
esporte e fez isso da melhor maneira
And
possível.
What's now? Why? You know what I mean? To
O
come
que
back
ele
and
vai
feel it
fazer
one more
agora?
time.
Por que
He
ele está
felt it tonight,
voltando?
and he blew his knee out, and he's going to have to go through
Ele
crazy
ferrou o joelho
surgery
dele hoje
again
à
and
noite.
recover from it. It's just like,
Vai ter que fazer uma cirurgia de
why? You've
novo,
already
vai ter
done
que
it
se
all. You've
recuperar.
accomplished everything
Por que ele queria,
that you could hope to
vai querer
accomplish in the
lutar
UFC.
novamente?
Last one.
And in saying that, so is Joe Lozon.
A mesma
Joe
coisa com o Joe
Lozon at
Lozon.
one point held like the most fight of the night bonuses or performance bonuses or
Joe
whatever it
Lozon, no
was.
momento,
You know,
acumulou o maior número de
he's
bônus.
been a part of the Ultimate Fighter. He's done so much in the sport. You get
Ele
to
já
an
fez muitas
age where
coisas
it's
no
just like,
esporte.
come on, guys.
Não tem
Last
porquê.
one
Ele
for
já
me,
chegou a uma
the tough
idade que
finale.
não tem
Sometimes
porquê
we see
lutar
guys
mais.
that lose the tough finale, like that's it for them. They don't have another UFC fight. But Cody Gibson, safe to say that he'll be sticking around?
Yeah, everybody's blowing me up saying give them both a contract. Yeah, he'll be sticking around.
And actually, I lied. I have one more. We didn't hear from
Ele tá
you
falando
after Corey Sandhagen's
que
win
deve dar
recently.
contrato pro
I guess I
Cody
just want to
Gibson
kind of
também,
figure
que
out
perdeu pro Brad
what you thought
Catona.
of it and kind of where he fits in this picture.
Yeah, listen, he's a stud. He's been apologizing to me nonstop about his performance. He needed elbow surgery, he hurt himself, and I said, kid, every fight can't be the greatest fight you've ever seen. Your performance before that was amazing. You stepped up and you took this fight again on short notice. Stop beating yourself up, man. You know what I mean? Every fight you see isn't going to be the greatest fight you've ever seen. And every fight you fight can't be the greatest fight you've ever fought. You won, you're in a great position. Heal up, get your shit together, and we'll get you back in there. And, you know, you can erase everybody's memories of you know, people thought that was,
tá falando que
whatever
ele
people thought of it.
que ele consolou alguém, mas eu não
Yeah.
entendi quem
A
foi.
few questions for you. I know you don't like to make fights, so I'm not going to ask you about.
Eu sei que você não gosta de fazer lutas.
You did just say that you don't want Ian to go to Dublin next. I mean,
I do want Ian to go to Dublin, just not next.
Yeah, not next.
Eu quero que o Ian vá para Dublin, mas não na próxima luta.
Irish guy, Madison Square Garden. Is that like a done deal? You get him there?
There's a blueprint for this shit, and we got it. So.
You just talked about Sean O'Malley saying how pro the crowd was with him. I don't remember the last time I saw a crowd be that one-sided for a guy who wasn't their hometown.
Eu não lembro qual foi a última vez que eu vi o público totalmente a favor de só lutador, como fizeram com o Sean O'Malley. Você acha que ele pode ser o novo Conor, o novo Ronda?
Do you see someone on the roster, possibly Sean O'Malley after they could actually surpass that stardom of like
Você vê alguém do plantel hoje
Well, it's not about surpassing them. It's about who's next and how, and when Conor McGregor exploded onto the scene, he ignited Europe and other parts of the world. And now, like Sean O'Malley coming into Boston, everywhere I went, yesterday and today, I'm sure you guys experienced this too. Hair, shirts, the whole deal. I mean, everybody was wearing O'Malley stuff, and you saw the reaction when he won tonight, how the place just erupted. And when you think about this, I say it every fucking Tuesday.
Quando
the
você
Contender
pensa
Series
nisso,
is the best show on television. The Contender Series is incredible. Now we have 2 world champions from the Contender Series and
e
multiple
você vê que hoje nós temos 2 campeões do
up-and-coming
Contender
stars coming
Series.
off that show. And if you've me and my crew, Hunter, the
Meu
matchmakers,
pessoal,
we're
os
sitting at
matchmakers,
the office. It's fucking 4:57. We jump in the car and we drive over the Apex every Tuesday and literally watch the baddest fights that you could
a
possibly
gente
see.
senta toda terça-feira no Apex e vê os melhores caras trocando porrada no
I
Contender.
love the Contender, and the Contender is
Eu amo o
really
Contender.
this streamline to the world championship right now. It's awesome.
Eu amo essa linha do Contender até a campeão mundial.
Obviously, the Contender Series is continuing to build stars.
O
Probably the
Contender
biggest
continua
star
montando
since
estrelas.
Sean O'Malley, in my opinion, is probably Bo Nickel. I mean, he's got that buzz around him.
A
He
última
said he,
estrela sem ser o
took
Sean
some time
O'Malley
off.
é o Bo Nickel.
Any idea when we could see him back in action?
100%.
Quando
No,
poderemos
but
ver ele de novo?
yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean,
Eu
yeah,
não
Bo
sei, mas
Nickel,
o Bo Nickel de fato
Macy Barber.
é
I
a
mean,
última estrela que
Hill,
veio do Contender
so
depois do
many
Sean
people
O'Malley.
have come off that show. The list goes on and on. Kevin Holland.
Kevin Holland, por exemplo.
I think the last year it started, and then this year from episode 1, and now the second one we just did. This thing's trending worldwide now. When we do fights on Tuesday nights, they trend worldwide on social media. So.
A gente faz lutas na terça-feira e isso vira uma trend mundial. As pessoas ficam vendo o Contender toda terça-feira à noite.
And Dana, my last question.
And you know what's crazy? I'll tell you this too. So when I first started the Contender Series, right?
A
So
primeira
we
vez que eu
used
fiz
to
o
take
Contender,
the numbers. We would
gente
judge
costumava-
guys by the numbers that they pulled. We had
a gente
all the
costumava
numbers written
julgar
down
os
on the wall in there,
lutadores pelos
the
números
numbers
que eles
that they
tinham.
pulled, how many millions of people watched the fight, and O'Malley was from day one number 1.
E o O'Malley,
And my
desde o
last
primeiro
question, obviously, we just
dia do
wrapped up
Contender, foi o cara que mais teve
the Ultimate
espectador.
Fighter. The finale was absolutely fantastic. But what was your overall thoughts of the entire show in general?
Yeah, it was a good
O que
season.
você
I mean,
achou do The Ultimate Fighter?
since
Foi
the
uma boa
Spike days,
temporada.
when we first blew up and we're pulling massive numbers and things like that, the
A gente
the
colocou grandes
attention
números desde o primeiro
and the
dia.
promotion
A atenção, a
that
promoção
ESPN has given this season of the
que a
Ultimate Fighter has
ESPN
been
deu, essa
incredible.
promoção dessa temporada foi incrível.
Yeah, it was good. Especially, like I
Foi
said, when
ótimo.
you have a finale. When's the
Quando você
last
tem uma
time
final,
an Ultimate Fighter finale was the fight of the night on a card
quando
like
foi a última
this,
vez que você
in a
teve
city
uma
like
final do
this?
The Ultimate Fighter como
So,
luta da noite?
it's pretty awesome.
Então, por aí você vê o nível que
What
foi.
do you think should be next for Aljamain Sterling going into the fight
O que
week?
você acha que
he's
deve ser a
talking about
próxima passo
potentially
para o
going
Aljamain
up to
Sterling?
145.
That's probably what he'll do. I don't know. Has he been
Acho
in
que
here
ele
yet?
deve ir pro peso, acho que ele deve ir pro
Yeah,
peso
ask him,
pego.
but if you're asking me right now, I'll bet he's going to say, I'm going to move up.
Se me perguntarem, eu aconselho ele a fazer
If
isso.
he were to want, say, like an immediate rematch or something like that, he was a very successful champion.
Not even thinking about that right now.
Okay.
Eu
And
não
we also
penso
had
sobre revanche
Michael
imediata
Chandler
ainda.
here, as a guest. He was saying that he kind of expects the fight with Conor to go down in December. I wonder if there's any update on that now that the tough season is.
He just asked me that too. I'd say next year.
Yeah. And we also had
Tá
Tatiana
falando que a luta
Suarez
do Chandler
as a
com
guest.
Conor
She
deve ser ano
wants
que
the
vem.
next shot. Could we be looking at her?
Who said that?
Tatiana Suarez.
Oh, yeah. No, she looks
Tatiana
good.
Soares
I
quer
don't
ser a
know.
próxima
We'll see.
desafiante ao
But
cinturão
yeah,
dos
I mean,
pares.
she's a little
Não sei,
badass, too.
mas ela é braba.
Then
Yeah, buddy.
Vamos pensar
You're
nisso.
right. You mentioned, you know, you want one more for Ian, probably MSG in November. But can you kind of confirm that next year, all going well, there will be a return to Dublin?
We shook hands. I guaranteed him. We made a deal.
So you mentioned this Conor fight may be happening next year. Why not December? Is that completely off the table at this stage? Like,
No.
Is the USADA thing a problem?
Oh, you're talking about Connor?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were asking me if we would go to Ireland first, if it's off the table. It's not off the table. Anything's possible, but I don't know. I can't. You're asking me questions I don't have the answers to.
Estão perguntando se ele planeja levar o Conor para Dublin, mas ele não sabia responder isso.
One more as well. Your two sponsors with Prime, KSI and Logan, getting back in the ring. Are you going to watch their fights? And what do you think?
Who?
KSI and Logan Paul.
Oh. They're fighting again?
They're back, like they're fighting on the same card.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Você vai assistir ao próximo evento do Logan
I
Paul?
like Logan.
Eu gosto do Logan. Eu gosto dele.
Great kid.
Eu gosto muito do
Who in
Logan.
this room thinks that's a great fight?
He's fighting.
Raise your hands, please, if him and Dylan Dennis is a great fight.
Mas quem acha que
I
ele
know
vai
he's
botar uma
fighting.
boa luta contra o
Nobody? Not one
KSW?
guy?
Kiss.
Dan, a question over here, kind of a hypothetical. Obviously, Sean is a big draw here. He's from Montana. There's a big fan base from him in Montana. Any chance
O
ever
Sean
in
trouxe
history
uma
there might be a card in the
base de
State?
fã
Well, I
absurda
love
pra cá.
Montana. I love that
Ele veio
state.
de Montana. Bom, eu amo Montana, eu amo
I
aquele
never say
estado.
never, but we're not thinking about it right now.
Nunca digo nunca, mas a gente não pensa sobre isso agora.
Any update on
Em levar o
light
UFC até
heavyweight
Montana.
title, Yuri Prochazka and Alex Pereira? Yuri is
Ah.
healthy and
Você
ready
tem
to fight.
notícias sobre o Giri
Are
Prochazka e o
they
Alex
ready to
Poatan?
fight?
Yeah. I mean, do you know when? Maybe?
I do not. If I did, we would have announced it.
Okay.
Sim, eles estão
Thank
prontos
you.
para lutar,
Dan over
mas
here.
a data eu sei ainda.
I have to ask for the people in Ecuador. Do you think Michael Morales will fight again this year? And if so, can you tell us when?
I have no idea.
Perguntou se
You
tem
know, I've
expectativa
been
do
here too
Michael
long. And these are
Morales
fucking questions you're
se
asking me now.
apresentar esse ano.
Hey, when this guy's gonna fight, what about that guy? What do you got?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
So I talked to the great John Anik, and he thinks the Patriots are not going to go to the Super Bowl. Are you ready to reprimand him, or what do you
O cara
think
tá
about that?
fazendo pergunta de futebol americano para ele.
John Anik, are you crazy? I
Sobre o
would
time
love
dele que é
to
o
see them go
Patriots.
to the Super
O
Bowl
que ele
again,
acha,
but I
como é
say
que
it
vai
all the
ser
time.
a performance do
Over the last 20
Patriots essa
years, the
temporada?
Patriots have given us so much joy and happiness, you know what I mean? We can take a little rebuilding time if we need to, but shame on you, John Anik.
Question for me. Obviously, you brought up the Contender Series and Sugar Sean O'Malley coming from that system and making his way up to the championship. But there are so many different promotions like Ring of Combat with the great Lou Negale, who I work for, and also like Titan FC and a bunch of different feeder systems.
Existem outros,
Is there any,
outros
talent
eventos sem
that
ser
you
o
have your
Contender
eye
que
on,
também
or
mostram muitos
somebody that you're going
talentos.
to be inviting to the Contender Series that you have high hopes for, or anybody?
Well, you know we're in the second week. We got 8 more weeks left of the Contender Series.
Fair enough, sir.
Nós
So
temos,
yes, we have tons of talent coming through there, and
nós estamos na segunda semana ainda, a gente tem 8 pela
I don't
frente.
think
Tem
we've
muito
turned down
talento
a
para
fighter.
vir
We
até
picked
aqui
every fighter in the
até
first 2
lá.
episodes. We haven't even, we picked every fighter that's fought on the
Nós
last
contratamos
2
todos que tiveram até agora.
episodes. So, listen, I love Tuesdays. It's my favorite
Eu amo
time
as
of the week. I love that
terças-feiras.
show, and I'm excited
Eu amo
for the
aquele
next 8
show.
weeks. And yeah, there's tons of talent coming through.
Eu não vejo a hora de chegar a semana que
I have to
vem.
admit that. But nevertheless, is there anybody on this card that popped out? Like Ian Gary was amazing, and is there anybody that like popped out for you on the card that you really stood out for you that you're gonna move up or?
Well,
anybody?
I would say the entire undercard looked incredible. I mean, you know, as you
Eu
got
gostei
into the
muito do
main
card
card,
preliminar.
there were a lot of fights that
Todos
people
foram
were
muito bem.
highly anticipating. But, you know, when you talk about Gibson and Katana, an unbelievable fight. When you
Gibson e
talk
Katana
about,
foi uma luta
you
incrível.
know,
Natália
there was
Silva,
just so many great fights
foi
on
absurdo.
the
Temos
Rodriguez.
boas lutas.
I mean, the undercard was incredible.
O card preliminar foi incrível.
Just a quick one. Any update on if you guys are coming back to Atlantic City this year? I know that was rumored for December.
Você tem alguma informação se vocês vão voltar para
I don't know.
Atlantic City esse
I
ano?
hope so.
Não, não sei.
I hope so. Yeah.
Thank you, Dana.
All right,
Mas eu
Staying
espero que
right here
sim.
down the middle.
Yeah.
We spoke to Ian Gary earlier in the week, and he said that he was surprised that fellow Irishman Paul Hughes hasn't been signed to the UFC. Is Paul Hughes on your radar at all?
Do you know how many guys are surprised that their guys they're friends with haven't been signed to the UFC yet? I hear that every day. You know, with the Contender Series going on right now, and with the amount of fights that we put on right now, the other thing
Com
that's
tantas lutas
happened
que
is
temos para
we've
fazer
had,
agora com
it's been a
Contender e
while
outras
since
coisas
the
que
injury
precisamos
bug
resolver.
has fucking terrorized us like it has over the last few months. So if he is somebody that is that good and that we're interested in, Sean and Mick will
Ele está
find
falando
him
sobre
and bring him in here.
prospecto que vai chegar e
McGregor was
que, se ele
tweeting
for
after
bom, ele vai ser
Kurt
contratado
Hallball's
de
win
fato.
that he wants to see him
Mas o nome
rematch
eu não
Lee
peguei.
Hammond from this season of The Ultimate Fighter. Is Lee Hammond potentially going to get a second shot at the UFC?
I don't know. We'll see.
Agora o
And last one for
falou
me. You
de
said
Lee
this event
Hammond.
broke the
Se ele
bantamweight
vai ter
title
uma
fight
segunda
pay-per-view
chance, o Dana
record.
falou que
Do
não
you have a
sabe.
current estimate on that number?
I do, but that belongs to ESPN, so I don't give that out anymore. But yeah, it crushed the record for the bantamweight championship. Yeah, this thing broke tons of records. The gate, the pay-per-view, social media was massive too, and now that he won, it's probably going to be even bigger.
Que hoje o pay-per-view
And I
quebrou
guarantee we're
recordes,
gonna
que
do an
as
economic
redes sociais
study
foram uma loucura
on Boston. You know, the economic impact that we had on this city had to be massive too.
e que o impacto econômico que eles tiveram em Boston foi absurdo.
Celtics or Bruins game or Patriots game, you know what I mean? So, yeah,
Thank you, Dan.
big night, big
Dana,
night.
how are you? To your left.
Foi uma ótima noite
Now,
hoje.
Given O'Malley's meteoric rise, right? You know, Snoop Dogg at the Contender Series, there have been a lot of people saying that he was going to be a champion really early on in his career. Was there a moment where
Muitas
you
pessoas
knew
diziam
that
que
he
o
would
O'Malley
be
ia ser
future
campeão
champion?
logo
You
cedo na
first
sua
thought that?
carreira.
Well, I think people thought that for a
Você
long time,
achava
and
isso
then
também?
he got a lot of criticism after the Cheeto Vera fight.
Muitas pessoas achavam isso, e ele foi muito
You can
criticado
never
depois
tell
da
in this
derrota dele
sport, man.
pro
You
Chico
never know
Vera.
how. Listen to me. Don't fucking lie to me. How many people thought he was
Não
going to
mentam
win
pra mim.
tonight? Raise your hand.
Quantas pessoas acharam que o
No,
O'Malley
go ahead,
fosse
raise
ganhar
your
hoje à
hand.
noite?
Don't be shy.
Levanta as mãos.
One guy,
Não
two
sejam
guys?
tímidos.
No?
Uma,
Yeah?
duas.
You?
Uma.
How many reporters are in here tonight, Lene? Huh? There's
Não, tô
70
perguntando quantas
reporters in this
pessoas.
room right now. One guy raised his hand that thought Sean
17
O'Malley was
pessoas
going to win
presentes
tonight.
na coletiva
Right?
e uma apenas
Who the
achava que o
fuck
Sean O'Malley
knows? This
fosse ganhar
sport is
hoje.
crazy. I mean, anything can
O
happen
esporte é
on any
maluco.
given night. And it happened tonight. You know,
E isso
most of
aconteceu
you that
hoje.
follow the sport and are educated in the sport said what everybody said. How does he not get taken down and
Vocês
absolutely
pensavam como
destroyed
todo
on
mundo
the ground?
pensou, vocês que
How does
acompanham o
he stop
esporte,
the
como
takedown? Maybe
o
he'll
Sean
stop it a
O'Malley
few
não
times,
vai ser
but
quedado,
this goes, the
como ele vai
longer this thing
defender as
goes and the
quedas.
more he defends the takedown, he's going to be in big
Quanto
trouble.
mais ele defender,
And here we are in this room now
mais
talking
vai ser
about how Sean
difícil.
O'Malley is
E
the
aqui
champion.
estamos, o Sean O'Malley é o
So,
novo campeão peso galo.
You don't ever really. Let's talk about Bo Nickel that he brought up the other day.
Vamos falar do
a
Bo
couple
Nickel,
minutes
então.
ago. He was great, unbelievable.
Ele é-
Once you crack that top
Ele é muito
five,
bom.
very few people make it into the top five, right? It's a whole nother ball game when you're in the top five.
Quando você entra
So,
no top 5, é outra história.
69 reporters
outro
in here
mundo.
said no. One guy raised his hand and said yes. What the fuck do I know?
You talked about wanting to do an economic study, and this weekend, especially in Boston, it seemed like a lot of green hair and a lot of country hats for that Morgan Wallen concert, right? Given the impact that Sean had, have you seen something like that around a city that one fighter can have so many people?
Você já viu alguma...
Not since the rise of Conor McGregor, yeah. Not since the rise
Você
of
já
Conor
viu
McGregor.
algum
And
lutador ser
Ronda,
tão
too.
impactante em uma cidade como
When
o Sean
Ronda
O'Malley
started to
foi?
really take off,
Não,
Ronda
eu
had
não
that
vejo
buzz
desde o
too.
Conor.
Chuck
O
Liddell.
Conor foi muito,
Given how well
Ronda foi
it
muito,
did in
e o Chuck
Boston,
Liddell também.
Would you consider coming back anytime in the near future? I know that COVID really impacted things.
Você
but-
considera voltar para
Anytime
Boston
I get
no
an
futuro?
excuse to come back to Boston, I'm coming, believe me.
Qualquer
Like I
desculpa
say,
que eu
when we
tiver
go
para
to
voltar
all
para
these
cá,
cities,
eu
and,
tô
you know,
voltando.
listen, we've been selling out since you could put people back in the arena again. And
A
there's
gente
so many
esgotou os
places that we
ingressos
haven't
hoje.
been. Tonight, when we do these events, we have lots of sponsors and other people here. So people were hitting me
Temos
up tonight.
muitos
When are you coming back to
patrocinadores por
Chicago? When are you
aqui.
coming back here? When are you coming back there?
Quando você vai
So,
voltar para Chicago? Quando você
so
voltar para
many
lá, para
cities that we
cá?
got to get back to. But
Temos muitas cidades para
I
voltarmos
love
ainda.
this city.
Eu amo essa cidade,
I
Boston.
love the Encore. I love the food in the North End. I mean,
Eu
it's
amo a
just,
comida daqui.
I love the steak tips out in South Boston. I'll get back here as many times as I
Eu amo
possibly
muitas
can.
coisas daqui. E eu quero voltar para cá em breve.
You guys done with me?
So Donna,
One more? Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
Donna,
sir.
this is from China, Migu. Currently, Wei Li and Lemos fight attract over 1.9 billion views in China's social media. So, however, consider, bring the UFC back to China
A
this
luta
year.
da Zhang Weili e da Amanda teve mais de 1 bilhão de transmissões na transmissão asiática, de visualizações da transmissão asiática.
I do not. As soon as possible.
So you see Weili, from 2018 when she got into the UFC, and now she improved herself very well. Who do you think the next challenger for her?
Quem você acha que é a próxima adversária da Zhang
I don't know.
Weili?
If this game,
We're working on that right now.
Eu não sei, mas a gente
She's
vai
up
trabalhar
next.
nisso agora.
She'll be in here. I think you should ask her who she wants to fight. She's the queen. She's the champ.
Se ela vier aqui,
She's
vocês
the
têm que
beast.
perguntar para ela.
She
Ela é a
can do whatever she
rainha,
wants.
ela é a princesa, ela é tudo. E ela que tem que
talk to
definir
her.
quem é a próxima oponente dela. Perguntem para ela.
Good? All right. She's up next. Have a good night, boys.
É isso. Bom,
Cara,
então...
ele falou tanta
Fala,
coisa
Miguel.
que fica até difícil da gente garimpar, né, cara?
Cara, eu...
Vamos lá. Vou garimpar coisas importantes aqui, tá, Leozão?
Pô, vai lá.
Na opinião de Dana White, o Weidman tem que aposentar, e já aposentou de tabela o Joe Leozon também. Acabou sobrando, né, pro Joe Leozon, coitado. Parece que o Weidman rompeu o ligamento, mas pela luta parece que a perna esquerda, né, que foi a perna que ele estava acusando muito durante a luta, e ele tinha machucado a perna direita, e, pô, já tem uma perna bichada, e você vai machucar outra, cara. O caminho natural das coisas é que a aposentadoria chegasse mesmo, não tinha o que fazer, e era o que a gente esperava no pré-luta. Acho que outra coisa muito impactante que ele falou foi sobre o peso, né, do Sean O'Malley, porque, pô, ele não via nada igual desde o Conor McGregor, de Dow Honda, enfim, eu acho que é muito surreal. Assim, pelo Sean O'Malley não ser um produto que a gente tenha tanto contato, podemos dizer assim, às vezes a gente não tem dimensão do tamanho do cara, né, assim, pro mercado, enfim. E parece que tem sido um sucesso comercial o Sean O'Malley. Não é à toa que o UFC já apostava nele desde o início, desde o Contender Series. Mais um campeão da safra do Contender, né? A gente teve aí o primeiro Jamal Hill e agora o Sean O'Malley. Então, assim, tá ajudando um pouquinho também, né? O UFC, podemos dizer assim. Até o próprio Dan White falou, né? Que ele tá amando nesses últimos dias. A terça-feira é loucura por causa do Contender. E, pô, ver mais um cara que saiu de lá ser campeão é maior ainda. E, pô, parece que o hype, a expectativa que o UFC tem em cima do Sean O'Malley é muito, muito grande, né, Léo?
Miguel, é gigante. O Dana estava falando que em Boston, ontem e hoje, que ele via todo mundo usando roupas em homenagem ao Sean O'Malley, cabelo em homenagem ao Sean O'Malley, e que o Sean vai ser uma grande estrela na organização, né? Então, com certeza, vai ser todo investimento aí feito para o Sean. Ele não quis cravar nenhum... Ele não quis oficializar nada, não quis se comprometer com nenhuma luta, não quis falar de luta do Sean O'Malley com Marlon Vera, não quis falar de próximo oponente da Zhang Weili, não quis cravar a data de Alex Poatan e Rio Prohaska, apesar de dizer que eles estão prontos. Então, Dana não gosta muito de divulgar essas coisas na coletiva, né, Miguel? Mas dá para ter uma noção aí do que a gente pode esperar. Falou que planeja fazer um evento em Dublin com o Ian Gary, mas não agora. Ele quer trabalhar um pouco mais a imagem do garoto aí na organização. Falou que a luta do Conor vai ser ano que vem com o Michael Chandler, que não vai ser esse ano. Vamos ver. Falou que a Amanda Lemos foi muito dura, mas que não teve... não tem comparação com a Zhang Weili, né? A campeã dominou ela da maneira que quis. Então, enfim, que existem... ele falou que, né, que são níveis, né? Que tem aí também falou que não pensou ainda em em situação de revanche imediata para o Aljamain Sterling com o Sean O'Malley, mas que se perguntassem a ele, que ele aconselharia o Sterling a subir para os penas para lutar lá na categoria até 66 quilos, né? Então, mais ou menos essa pegada aí do que o Dana falou, para a gente atualizar aqui vocês, e não quis se comprometer com nada. Agora a gente tem que esperar o Sean O'Malley e a Zhang Weili aparecerem aí.
Exatamente. Uma outra coisa que eu acho que é legal da gente ver e de reparar é que como o UFC, o Dana White, né, vê as diferenças, assim, né, os hypes, quando ele meio que fala, da forma que ele fala do Sean O'Malley é muito diferente da forma que ele falou do Ian Gary, assim, vê com outros olhos mesmo. E durante a semana o Ian Gary falou que ele que estava carregando esse card nas costas. Só com essas simples falas do Dana White já dá para perceber que não era bem assim, né? Mas enfim.
Exatamente. Mas Miguel, acho que tá muito cedo ainda para ele achar que ele é o Conor.
Exato.
Se ele estivesse nocauteando, como o Conor fazia, né? Beleza. Se ele estivesse dominando, como o Conor fazia, beleza. Mas não é assim, né? No início dele no UFC, ele passava uns perrenguezinhos ali contra os lutadores que ele enfrentava, né? Que não era aquele domínio amplo, né? Acho que a vitória mais dominante dele antes contra o Neil Magny foi contra o Daniel Rodrigues, porque os ultras, ele não era o Conor que chegava que falava o round e que ia atrasar e que ia machucar e blá blá blá, entendeu? Então vamos ver. Só vou agradecer aqui ao mestre Marcão. Obrigado, mestre. Valeu, cara, pelas palavras de carinho de sempre.
所以那你说要考虑过生重，那你觉得这个生重的计划是可能会在比较近的时间段内发生的，还是那还是相对来说一个不太
Como é que vai ser o tradutor dela falando em
我
inglês?
觉得一切都皆有可能。
Everything is possible.
Tudo é possível.
And lastly, you had said Sean O'Malley. Just curious, what do you think of his afro, the colors and all that?
O que você achou
His hair.
das
What
tranças
did
do
you
Sean
think about
O'Malley?
Sean O'Malley's hair?
哦，你刚刚说想打蜜糖，你觉得这蜜糖的头发怎么样？颜色、发型？
头发非常的好看，非常漂亮。
Oh, very beautiful. Yeah, I like it.
Muito bonito.
Whaley right here.
Gostou muito das tranças do Sean O'Malley.
Dana was in there earlier. Was asked about you fighting in China. He said, "Yeah, for sure. He wants that to happen soon."
Dana falou sobre
How
você
big would a
lutar na
fight
China e
between you
concordou com
and
essa ideia.
fellow countrywoman Yan Xinan be in China?
O que você acha de
刚
uma
才也说
luta
过，你可能
de
想
você
过
contra a
在
Yan
中
Xiaonan
国
na
打一
China?
场大比赛，然后呢，那你觉得如果在
Acha
中国比赛，
a
然后
Yan
有
Xiaonan
可
também
能
é
是
chinês,
你
tá,
打你
pessoal?
的同胞严小南，那你觉得那会是一场很大的比赛吗？
我现在没想过，我现在只是想着先好好休息，然后接下来再看接下来要发生什么。
It's not a thing I'm thinking right now. The only thing in my
Não é uma
mind
coisa que eu
right now
esteja
is
pensando
have a
agora.
break, have some rest, and then let's
Eu quero
see what
descanso.
happens for the next.
Vamos ver o que acontece depois, mas não é uma coisa que eu esteja pensando agora.
Congratulations on the win. So
Parabéns
as
pela
far
vitória.
as crowd reception is concerned, Boston gave you a huge reception. Everybody was very,
Boston
very
te
happy.
deu uma grande
You won.
recepção.
Also, during the weigh-ins, they were all cheering you.
Durante
How
as
did it feel to get
pesagens,
such a
durante
great reception from the
a
Boston
semana.
crowd?
整个这一周啊，
que
波士
você
顿的
achou
人
dessa
都太
recepção?
爱你了，太支持你了。从新闻发布会、称重仪式到今天的比赛，所有人都在喊你的名字。那你觉着波士顿的观众，你有什么想对他们说的吗？
天哪！
对这座城市，
我太爱这里了，我非常非常喜欢这里。然后，我19年来过这儿看过一次比赛，然后我当时就说，哎呀，我想来波士顿比赛。然后4年以后来这儿比赛的时候，就直接告诉我波士顿有比赛，我就特别开心，然后就来到这儿比赛。然后结果来到这儿，我也没有想到，就是所有的粉丝观众对那么热情，真的超乎我的想象。我感觉就像我的主场一样。
Yeah, Boston is amazing. I love this city so much.
Boston é maravilhoso. Eu
In
amo essa cidade.
2019, I've been here to watch an event, and I like
Em
here. So
2019 eu vim
then,
aqui.
from that time, I was just thinking, okay, maybe one day I can fight in the Boston. So
E
when
desde
UFC
então,
told me,
pensando
how
que
about
eu
we
podia
fight in
lutar em
Boston for
Boston.
this fight? I just said, okay, let's do it. And it's kind of
Quando me ofereceram essa luta em
dream
Boston,
come
eu pensei,
true.
pô, vambora
And,
então.
you know,
E foi
it's
sonho realizado.
unbelievable that the people in the city give me such a massive support.
É inacreditável como as pessoas aqui de Boston me deram tanto suporte, tanto carinho.
Yeah, the audience in this arena tonight is, they just gave me massive energy.
O pessoal na arena hoje me deu muito incentivo.
Five more rounds.
Awesome.
Eu conseguiria lutar muitos rounds ainda.
This is my last question. So fighting Yan,
Com esse apoio da
obviously
torcida.
China versus China, she's third ranked. Would you want to have that fight in China? Obviously, it's going to be
Você
much
quer
hyped,
enfrentar Yan
much
Xiaonan na
anticipated
China?
fight between two top contenders in China, or would you don't care where it happens? You don't care if it's in front of China, if it's here, like
Ou você não
where would you
importa
want
que
the fight
seja na
to take
China
place?
ou com quem
那如
seja?
果你下一场可能的对决是对现在排第3的严小
我te falar que não quer pensar
Boa
nisso,
pedida, hein?
来争夺这个腰
Boa
带，
pedida.
não é porque
更
ela
希望这场比赛在中国发生呢，还是
Sim, não, eu
在
entendo,
哪儿
mas,
打都
pô,
无所谓。
我觉得地点什么都无所谓，然后就看怎么接下来一场跟谁打吧，我觉得。
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter where we fight, but just let's see
Não importa onde a
who
gente
I
vai
fight
lutar.
for the next.
O que importa é quem eu vou lutar em seguida.
Ok.
Então ela não cravou que a Yan Xiaonan vai ser a próxima adversária dela. E é isso.
E é isso.
Bom, foi bem rapidinho com a Weili Zhang aí. Ela falou que ficou maravilhada com a recepção que o Boston teve com ela, que ela tinha ido na cidade em 2019, que ela colocou como uma meta se apresentar na cidade um dia na carreira e que quando recebeu esse convite, ela não hesitou em aceitar. Foi um sonho realizado em lutar em Boston e que ela ficou maravilhada com a recepção, com a galera na arena vibrando por ela e que com essa energia que eles deram, ela conseguiria lutar por muitos rounds ainda contra a Amanda Lemos. Também foi perguntada sobre o possível confronto contra a Yan Xiaonan, que é uma outra chinesa que é top 3, se eu não me engano, da categoria, se ela gostaria de fazer essa luta China contra a China na China. Ela falou que não quer pensar nisso agora, que isso é para outra hora, que ela quer descansar. E aí o cara insistiu na pergunta e ela falou que o lugar não importa, o que tem que definir primeiro é a próxima adversária dela. Então, ela não se emocionou muito da Yan Xiaonan ser a adversária dela em seguida.
Exatamente. Cara, é muito ruim para Weili Zhang, enfim, ter uma língua completamente diferente assim do inglês, que as entrevistas delas acabam sempre sendo mais curtas, né? Porque essa logística de, passar para o português, passar do chinês para o inglês, ela responder, aí traduz do chinês para o inglês de novo, então tipo, fica meio ruim para ela, fica meio complicado, mas enfim, super compreensível. Cara, vou te falar, seria muito maneiro um Yan Xiaonan e o Weili Zhang na China de luta principal, seria maneiro demais mesmo.
Eu também acho, Miguel. Eu queria ver como é que os chineses iam se comportar, né? Porque eles não têm essa tradição de gritar, de vibrar. Então, seria legal.
Meu pensamento, minha ideia é mais ou menos semelhante a isso que você falou, cara. Eu tenho realmente muita curiosidade de saber de como que eles iam se comportar. E a Aljamain está na área.
What's up, guys? Hello, Aljo. Thank you, first of all, for coming back to talk to us. I know it can't necessarily be easy. You've had a few minutes now to think about it.
Falar com a
Just
gente,
talk us through
imagino
the
que não seja
emotions right
fácil.
now. Losing the belt, losing it to a guy
Me
like
fala
Sean
sobre
O'Malley.
suas
How are you
emoções
feeling?
agora,
How do you
depois de
think the
perder o
fight went?
cinturão. Como é que você está se sentindo?
It definitely sucks. I mean, I'm not gonna lie about that.
Pô, é um saco isso, né?
There was a lot coming into this fight.
Tinha muita coisa envolvida nessa
Quick
luta.
turnaround, everything.
Eu
But I was happy to do
voltando
it.
depois de pouco tempo, mas essas coisas
No
acontecem.
excuses, Sean.
Sem desculpas pro Sean.
Yeah, he did a good job of the one thing I knew he would be good at, is that step back counter. And
Ele fez uma coisa muito boa que eu sabia que ele ia fazer, que é esse
yeah, it's just a
contragolpe.
good shot, man. I felt like I saw
E foi
something
ótimo
else.
golpe.
I stepped in. He capitalized on the one mistake that I made, and I
Ele
paid for it.
capitalizou
I
no
mean, I felt like
erro
the
que eu
fight could have still
tive.
kept going, to be honest. I thought I rolled over to try to come back up, and I mean, as soon as he stepped in, I was fine, but it was just one of those
E
things.
eu achei que eu tava de boa ainda.
Can't
Eu
be
achei
mad
que
at the
foi
ref.
interrompida cedo. Eu tava rolando pra me
It is
livrar
what it is,
do
man. Losing
ataque.
sucks, it always does.
E o árbitro interrompeu. Mas é isso.
Especially
Derrota é derrota,
losing
é
to
um
him.
saco. Especialmente
But honestly,
perdendo pra
he's a
ele.
good fighter, man. A lot of the things
Mas
that
ele é
I said
um
coming
bom
into this
lutador.
fight, I said I respect the skills. I know what
Eu
he's good
respeito
at.
as
I know
habilidades
what my
dele.
strengths are, and he was
Sei
able to
quais são as minhas
capitalize on that
habilidades.
tonight.
E ele
And
foi feliz em
I've been here
capitalizar em
before,
cima
man.
disso.
I mean, a lot worse though, with Marlon Moraes, and I was able to bounce back and put together
Foi muito
a
pior
pretty
do que o
good
contra o Marlon
streak,
Moraes. Mas contra
to
o
even
Marlon,
get the belt, you know. So
eu consegui voltar.
it's just one of those things. Life goes
E é
on.
isso.
And it's
A vida
whatever
segue.
you decide to make of it, you know. It's just one of those things. And I'm going to remember this night for a very long time. And it's going
Vou
to
lembrar
fuel me
dessa noite por
for
muito tempo.
just bigger and greater things.
Yeah, you mentioned, you know, that he caught you with the one thing, and you were very good at giving him credit before this fight, probably even more than some of the onlookers and pundits and stuff. Was he in there? Was he as good as you were expecting, or in ways was he a little bit better
Você
than you were
esperava que ele
expecting? Was
fosse
he
tão
doing
bom
things that you
quanto
were
ele
like,
foi?
oh, he's better at that range
Você
than I
acha que ele te
saw, or anything
surpreendeu
like
com alguma
He
coisa?
was better than what I thought in
Ele foi melhor do que eu
his
achei que fosse
footwork.
ser.
And that was one of the things I try to get guys
A
to emulate, because I
movimentação dele
knew that is a hard thing to do, because I do it myself when I go side to side.
É uma coisa
It's
difícil de
different when
fazer,
someone else is doing it to you,
caminhar
and
para os
you're like,
lados.
I can't track this
Mas é
motherfucker
difícil
down.
você lidar com
I
isso.
tracked him down a couple of times, but then he would spin out at the last second when I think I threw a side kick and he was able to pivot out beautifully. He did a couple
Eu
things
joguei
really,
um
really
chute
well. I mean, I
lateral,
would have liked to have gotten it down to the
bem.
ground to really see how good he is down there.
Eu não
But like I
consegui
said,
colocar ele
with
pro
the
chão
one
e
thing
ver
I
como ele é bom
knew,
por baixo.
we were doing a good job of throwing that overhand right into the takedown. He threw the front
Mas eu
kick.
fiz uma coisa boa, que não
right
era dar
after, I
o
was like,
overhand para
I
entrar
think
em
I got
queda em
this timing.
seguida.
I threw the
Eu ia
left
pegar o
hand,
tempo dele.
and as I was coming down, he stepped back. He hit a beautiful counter right, and
Ele teve um
it was a
ótimo
counter right. I think
contra-golpe.
it was a counter right, and it
Foi
was
um
clean,
golpe
man.
de
It was
esquerda, né?
clean, and
E foi limpo.
I knew I was okay, but it was one of those things that, you know, you're rolling around on the ground. The ref
Eu
doesn't
sabia
really
que eu
know
estava
how
bem, eu
bad you
estava
really hurt.
tentando
I know
rolar
the ref
ali,
hasn't
tentando
really seen me in
sobreviver.
that position before, so it's kind of hard
O
to kind
árbitro
of give
viu
the
quanto eu
benefit
estava
of the doubt.
machucado.
Definitely think it could have
Então
gone a
fica
little bit
aquela
more, but yeah,
dúvida
credit where
de
credit is
se eu
due, man.
aguentaria
Sean
mais
did
ou não.
a great job. He stayed disciplined, man. I didn't want the fight to be boring. I could have
Mas o
sat on
Chá
the
fez
outside,
bem
just kept
demais.
playing the leg kick game. But
Eu
then I
não
would
queria
have
que a
had
luta
all
fosse
the
chata,
criticisms of everybody else, and I was like,
mas ele
see,
fez
this is
esse
the
jogo
difference.
de se
He stayed
movimentar, de
disciplined to
chutar a
his
perna, e as
game
pessoas
plan.
criticam isso.
And
Mas
I
esse não
kind
era
of
meu
let,
plano de jogo.
I don't want to say emotions, but I kind of let trying to be a little bit more of an exciting style.
Eu
for the
acabei
fans play
tentando ser
factor.
mais
You know, we've seen the
emocionante
Izzy
do que
Yoel
eu
Romero fight. We've seen
previa ser.
bad fights before where it's kind of like
Eu não
not
queria
much
ter uma luta
happens
tipo
because
Yoel
no one wants
Romero.
to make that grave mistake. I made the mistake. Sean
Eu
capitalized.
paguei caro.
I paid for it.
You mentioned
Eu
there that you
errei,
felt the
e
fight
o Chá
couldn't keep going
capitalizou,
because the
e é
referee
isso.
didn't know how hurt you were or weren't hurt. How hurt were you after the right hand?
I thought it was fine. I mean, as
O
soon as they
quão
like rolled
machucado você
over,
tava?
he came over to me. I was
Tava
like,
bem, pô. Tava
"Dude, I'm
rolando
good."
lá.
I mean, they were asking
Eu
me
tô
questions.
bem.
I forgot what state we were fighting in. I will say that. That wasn't like, oh, he hit me so hard. I forgot. I was like, I legitimately just forgot where we were.
Eu esqueci onde eu tava, só.
I was like, we're not in Vegas. Like, it was like coming to
Ele achou
Boston,
que
but
tava em
not
Vegas.
really one of those places that we really fight at often. So I was like, I know we're not in Vegas, but I didn't want to give him an answer. And then he's gonna be like, oh no, you were fucked up, bro. You were really fucked. And then he asked me what year is it. I was like, 2023, bro. I was like, I'm
O
telling you,
árbitro
I'm fine. I
perguntou
just
pra ele onde
really
ele
don't
tava e ele
remember
falou que sabia
that
que eu
we
não
came
estava
to
em
Massachusetts,
Vegas.
'cause it's not a
E o
state that
árbitro
you
falou,
say all
então
the
você tá
time.
muito machucado,
Oh,
cara.
whatever. Yeah.
What's next for you, Aljo? You said in the cage very thoughtfully that, look, if he's catching me like that, 45ers could do some damage too. You want to go home and reflect.
Você falou que se o Volkanovski me acertar assim, ele pode machucar
you
também.
came from the Rise lockout to come back and win a title. I'm sure that's the motivation to do so again. But do you do that at 35 or do you do it at 45?
That's one of the things we gotta talk about.
É uma das
I
coisas que eu
mean,
tenho que
I would
resolver ainda.
love to have a rematch.
Eu adoraria tomar revanche.
I just feel like even that first round, like, what did you guys think? What did you guys score that
O que
first
você
round?
achou do primeiro round?
I thought it was very
Quem
close
você
to,
acha
but
que
I
ganharam?
didn't know which way it was
É
going
muito
towards.
próximo,
I know I landed
muito
a bunch of
apertado.
leg kicks. He
Eu
landed
dei
one
monte
cross to
de
the
chute na
body,
perna dele.
and I
Dei
got him on the
dei
cage
o
at the end.
cruzado
I
na
think I
barriga
landed
dele.
like 3 punches to the face, maybe, and that was like the
Acertei a
round.
cabeça dele
It
3
wasn't very
vezes.
eventful, but I felt like we were both trying to establish our rhythm and our range. So I wasn't sure like which way the fight was really
A
going.
gente estava tentando
going
achar a
into that second
distância.
round.
I would agree. I think it was one of those rounds that they were going to score it either way, you know.
Yeah, so I don't know. I would like to see what the judges scored it. That would be interesting.
Eu
But
queria ver o
yeah,
que
I don't know
os
which way
juízes deram no primeiro
I'm going
round.
to go with things. Like I said, I would first and foremost love an opportunity to run that back and just to get some definitive answers. And maybe I could do, I don't want to say a better job because I feel like the guys I trained with were phenomenal, but
Se eu
maybe
tivesse uma
make it more
revanche, talvez eu,
intentful to have guys that are giving me that look going side to side. So I
se eu
do a
tivesse
better
uma
job
revanche,
of
talvez eu
preparing for that. Because
melhorasse
that
minha
ultimately
preparação,
was the one thing I was
arranjasse
concerned
alguém
with.
que copiasse o estilo do
And it
Sean
was the one
O'Malley jogando com esse jogo de caminhar para os lados.
My forward pressure, where I was like, you know what, let's play Matador. And I
Ele
was trying to
conseguiu
lull him in
neutralizar
so
a minha
that I could
pressão.
spin him to the cage, but he didn't really play the game. So it's just one of those things. A
Ele
couple of tactical
conseguiu
things I think I
interromper
need
as
to look
minhas
at. And
tentativas de
I think it's
pressioná-lo
a
contra a
very
grade.
winnable fight. I think he's good at what he
Eu
does.
achava
I'm
que era
good
uma
at what
luta
I
muito
do.
vencível.
So, Aljo, would you say an immediate rematch is what you would like the most?
That is 100% what I would like the most. And it's not saying
A
like
coisa que eu mais
Sean
quero, com
doesn't deserve to
certeza,
be
é a
like, he can go out
revanche.
there and beat me again. And I think it just strengthens his case that he's as good as he says he is. But I think I've
Se ele for lá e me bater de novo, beleza,
I would
ele é
like
isso
to
tudo
think
que
that
ele
I've
fala.
earned my right to get an immediate rematch.
Mas eu acho que eu mereço ganhar a minha
If you
revanche.
can clarify to people, because everybody says, oh, you know, he's huge for bantamweight, and obviously you are, but how hard are these weight cuts? Like, can you
O quanto tem sido
continue
difícil
to
para
fight
você
at
bater o peso?
135? No problem. I mean, you've made championship weight all the time, so.
I mean, I could. Do I really want to? Not really.
Eu
I
posso
wish
bater
we
o
would
peso.
just
Se
do
eu
like
quero,
cage-side
não quero
weigh-ins
não.
like an hour or 30 minutes before, because guys won't cut the weight that we cut. It just would be impossible. And I think you would start seeing more people fighting up 2 weight classes. I truly do believe
Você
that.
vê
Same thing
que
like
as
wrestling
pessoas
and
estão
jiu-jitsu
começando a
tournaments.
subir de
You just
categoria.
can't compete when you're getting hit in the head, like severely dehydrated. It just wouldn't happen. I think guys would be smart enough to not do such a crazy thing, but
As pessoas
I
estão
can
ficando
still
mais
make the
espertas e vão
weight.
fazer
It's
loucuras
just a
para cortar
lot
peso.
harder, and it's a longer duration of dragging out that weight cut and trying to shrink incrementally all the way until fight week until I step on the scale.
And you
Eu
had
preparo
been very
tudo
open
durante a
about
semana
the
para
August
conseguir bater o
19th day
peso.
being a concern that you didn't know if your body was going to be ready. You told us at media day that you felt 100%, but that's obviously pre-fight. Now that it's done, did you enter the fight 100%? Did the immediate or did the quick turnaround affect your performance? You think in any way?
I'm not gonna do that to
Você acha
Sean.
que
I'm not TJ. I'm not
Você acha que
gonna.
a vitória, você acha
I'm
que
not
é
gonna do
o seu
that.
retorno rápido ao
I
octógono
felt like I
atrapalha
had
sua
a pretty
performance?
damn good
Não,
training
eu não vou
camp.
fazer isso com o Sean O'Malley. Eu não sou o TJ
I
de
think
só
it's
que
just
fica
the
dando
one thing that we
desculpa.
probably left. I thought we left no stones unturned. That was the one thing we left unturned was the footwork. But we thought we did a good job of it, but we didn't really simulate it as well as I thought we
Isso
did.
é uma coisa que complicou, mas eu também pequei em outras coisas.
I felt good. I'll leave it at that. I
Eu me
felt
senti
good.
bem.
No excuses, man. I truly
Sem
did feel
desculpas.
like it was my night, and
Eu pensava que
I
era
made
eu
one
pensava que ia ser
mistake.
minha
I
noite.
paid for
E
it.
um erro, eu
I was
paguei
on the phone
caro
right
por
here.
isso.
All 3 judges actually had you winning the first round 10-9.
Todos os
that's
3
nice.
juízes deram o primeiro round. Pô, isso é ótimo.
That's nice to actually win a close
Que
round.
legal.
I feel like whenever it's a
Foi
close
round
round, I don't
apertado.
get it. Like I don't get the round
Não
scored
sabia
for
se eu
me,
tinha
but,
vencido o
that's cool
round.
to hear because it makes me feel
Mas
like
é legal ouvir
the
isso.
work we were doing in the first round now it
O
actually
trabalho que eu
like,
fiz no primeiro
it gives
round
me a little bit more clarity going forward so that I know what type of tactical approach I want to take. Because Sean is not a guy you can fight just going forward because he won't give you
Sean
the
é um cara que você
opportunity
pode
to
lutar
just
indo
sit
pra
and
frente,
set his
marchando pra
feet. He
frente.
doesn't do that. And
Ele
that
não
is one of the
para
things
e
I've been saying
te
about him
enfrenta
for
de
a very long
frente.
time. He has really good footwork and he has a really
Ele
good
tem uma
1-2
movimentação muito boa, eu
and
sabia
a good
disso.
step back counter. And he does it
Ele
well
tem
from both
contragolpe
stances.
muito forte.
Me, I
Com
take
as
you down.
duas posturas.
I think it's relatively known what I do on the ground. So he was able to implement his game plan and cause
Ele
me
conseguiu
to
implementar
make
a
the
sua
mistake.
estratégia.
And
Eu errei.
congrats to him. He's a world champion now. He can
Parabéns
actually
pra ele. Ele é o campeão agora.
solidify. I don't want to say solidify himself, but he can actually credit where credit is due. You know, it's one thing to
Agora
kind
ele
of get
pode
catapulted into
ter
that
o crédito que ele quiser.
without actually proving yourself, but he proved it tonight, and he did something that a lot of guys couldn't have done to me in a very long time.
Ele
and
conseguiu fazer coisas
I think
que
that's
muitas
worth
pessoas não
something
fazem
to,
comigo há
to
muito
know.
tempo.
Kind of going off of that, a lot of the narrative after media day was, or your last few media days, is you were one of the few champions that says, like, I could lose, because a lot of these champions, they come in confident, they say, well, I'm going to beat this guy and then move on to this, but you've always been like, I might lose, like Sean might become a superstar after he fights me. So why has that always been your mindset, and why do you think other champions kind of don't carry that same mindset?
Como é que era sua mente de
I don't
campeão
know. I
antes
don't know
dessa
what makes them
luta?
tick. I know for me, if you keep it real with yourself, and I think it helps you
Se você
make
for
the
real com
dangers
você
a little
mesmo,
bit more real when you actually face reality that you can actually lose.
isso te ajuda a
You go in
enfrentar
there, it's
melhor a
a fist fight,
realidade.
man. It's not. We're sparring with shin pads on, bigger gloves, 16
Isso não era um
ounces,
sparring, uma
headgear.
sessão de
No.
manopla.
This is shin bone on forearms, on your legs, the side of your head.
Isso é
4
canela
ounce
com
gloves, pretty
canela,
much
é
bare
o
knuckle,
osso.
as close to bare knuckle as it gets, you know. It's
É
a tough
perto de
sport.
um boxe sem luva.
to pretend that you are this invincible thing, I think is a little bit of a disservice.
Pensar que você é
I think it
invencível,
helps
eu
me
acho que
stay
é
humble and it helps me work harder
uma coisa
because I
que
know there's always that
não
possibility
pensar que eu sou
that this guy
invencível é
can
uma coisa
have
que me
his night. And
permite
like I
ser
said, I was like,
humilde.
it has to be a cold night in Boston for this man to beat me, and that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. It's been a cold week, the entire week out here in Boston. That should have been the foreshadowing right there. Like, hey man, something's up. Let's try to tighten some things up before we step into that octagon. But I think it's just a good mindset to have going in, that you know there is a possibility you could lose, but how can
Eu sabia
you
que tinha a
make sure
possibilidade de eu
you
perder.
line everything up and give yourself the best opportunity to win?
Last one for me. They
Nós
cut to you during
temos que
Chris's fight.
procurar as
They would
melhores
show you in the back.
oportunidades
Was it
para
hard
vencer
watching
as
that fight?
lutas.
Not hard. I mean, the hard part was obviously his leg and seeing him get kicked
A
to the leg
parte mais
over and over.
difícil
Like,
foi a
that was the
perna
hard part
dele.
because I'm just thinking about health after he's done fighting. And it's always tough to see stuff like that. And I know Brad because I trained down there at Extreme Couture.
Tá falando sobre
He's
o
a
Chris
cool
Weidman.
dude.
A
And I'm just glad
preocupação
both
dele
those
era a
guys came
perna.
out as healthy as they possibly could. And hopefully Chris's legs aren't as severely beat up as it looked, you know, because that's unfortunate. I think the guys had like 25 or 26 surgeries, bro. And that's
Acho que
a
já
lot.
teve muitas
So
cirurgias nele na
hopefully
perna, mas
he has
20
a
e poucas
speedy recovery,
cirurgias.
and
Eu
that's my
espero que
guy,
ele tenha uma
man.
boa
He's
recuperação.
always been Captain America to me, someone I always looked up to.
Ele sempre tem sido
Just
o
felt like he
Capitão
was
América
always
para mim.
invincible, doing things that
Eu sempre
were
achei que ele fosse invencível,
unthinkable, and
fazendo
made
suas
it all
coisas,
possible. Like to see him
e
doing that,
tornando tudo possível.
kind of around my age group, not really, but kind of.
Ele era uma
Aljamain,
inspiração
to your
para mim.
right. Speaking of your teammates and your coach Ray and Al and Marab, I mean, what you put together in this title run was spectacular. I know it's hard to process that now after a loss, but I mean, it was cementing yourself as one of the best bantamweights in UFC history, and it was really the title run that put you on another level. In terms of your team, I mean, you must be very proud of what you guys have accomplished. Obviously, you're not done yet, but what you've accomplished so far.
Definitely proud of
Que
everything,
você acha do
man.
seu time
Glass
até
half
hoje?
full. Like, I get choked up when I talk about this. Like, I don't come from the best household, you know, so just being able to find inspiration in other people and
Você tem que achar a
kind
inspiração
of
das
carving out your own
pessoas.
path. That's the one thing I love about the sport. It's allowed me
É uma coisa que eu
to
amo no
do
esporte.
things my way, and
Fazer as coisas do
man,
meu jeito.
life is good. I got my
A vida é
family.
boa. Eu
Got
tenho
my
minha
beautiful
família,
fiance.
tenho minha linda
You
esposa.
know, I don't want to cry on fucking camera, man.
Eu não quero chorar.
It's the things that matter the most in life, you know. The competition
Essa
is
é a coisa que
okay,
mais importa.
but this has
Competição,
really helped
beleza.
change my life. Like,
Mas isso
I know the UFC gets a lot of
ajudou a
shit
mudar
from
minha
like,
vida.
fighters and stuff, but if it wasn't for them, man, I wouldn't have the life that I live today. And I told Dana that even at the weigh-ins yesterday, and Hunter, like, if it wasn't for them, like, half the things I've done in this sport wouldn't be possible, and the things I've been able to do for my family, bought my mom a house, doing a little real estate.
Eu falei com o
own 3
Dana que as
houses
coisas que eu
now.
fiz até hoje
I'm
me
set in
permitiram
terms of
comprar uma casa para minha
financial
mãe, me permitiram
means,
ter uma
you know,
boa
this
família,
is just icing on the cake, and
ter filhos.
I took a shot. You know, I took a shot trying to come back and trying to do something unthinkable, and making a dream into a reality. And I fell short,
E eu
but
consegui
it happens,
voltar
you
e
know,
fazer sonho virar realidade.
I'm super proud of everything I've done. No one can,
Eu tô
like,
muito
I'm
orgulhoso de
bulletproof,
todas as
man.
coisas que eu já
Like,
fiz.
no one can shake me mentally. No one but myself. So that's
Ninguém
one of the
consegue
things
mexer com
I
a minha
would
mente.
never get down on myself about. I've truly
Eu nunca vou permitir
earned
que alguém
everything
faça isso.
I've gotten, and that's the
Eu
most
conquistei
important.
tudo que eu
And I just wish
conquistei.
people would take other people's journeys and, like, yeah, I play the heel and everything. Like, it's all a game to me. Like, it's like I like having fun. It's a good time. You know, I'm from Long Island. We break balls. We like to just have a good laugh. But at the end of the day, chase your dreams, man, because
No final do
life
dia,
is short.
siga os seus sonhos,
34 now.
persiga os
I
seus
started this
sonhos.
game when I was 20 years old.
Comecei esse jogo quando
I
eu
thought I
tinha
was gonna be
20
the next
anos.
youngest champion.
Achava que esse é o
Next to John
campeão mais
Jones, came
novo,
up short.
depois do John Jones.
And what a ride it's been, and knowing that
E,
door is
pô,
going to close one day, it scares me a little
que
bit.
corrida
You know?
tem sido.
So I just try to make the most of every single opportunity I can.
Eu tava tentando aproveitar todas as oportunidades que eu tenho na vida.
Over here. So can you see the positive?
Cut the onions.
You're okay, man. We all love you. Can you see the positives as far as what you have done as far as your championship reign? You fought top-tier talent. You broke box office records. You did amazing things. Can we see the positives?
Você quebrou recordes, você fez coisas maravilhosas.
As far
O que
as
você acha
you have
disso?
done so far?
Yeah,
O que você fez até
I'm a
agora?
glass half full kind of guy. I mean, even in this, I think most people would probably be really down on themselves, especially you lose to a guy like that who
Muitas pessoas vão estar contra mim, até depois de ter perdido para um cara que tem tatuagem de um rapper.
Glass half full, man. Life is good. It could always
Mas
be
a vida é
worse.
boa.
There's someone out there who's complaining about things that I have that they don't have. And I think that helps me
Sempre
keep
terão
things in
pessoas que
perspective
vão ver o
that
que eu
it can,
tenho e o que eles não têm.
someone else out
Vai
there
se
always has
comparar.
it worse than we do. And I think that's the fortunate thing. Like, you guys are all in here doing something that you enjoy doing, I hope. And being able to go to events and watch great shows like this, it's nothing short of a privilege that we have in this country. So I'm super proud of everything I've accomplished, everything I've
Eu tô
done.
orgulhoso de
And
tudo que eu
I do
conquistei,
hope
tudo que eu fiz até
for
hoje.
to add a little bit more to my I hate using the word legacy because it's such a weird term. I feel like it's
Eu não
I feel
quero usar o
weird saying it
termo
out loud.
legado,
But just
mas
more
que
to
é
my
uma coisa
resume
muito
and
estranha.
everything I've accomplished in this sport.
Mas o meu
I'm just-
resumo até aqui
I'm
foi muito
grateful.
bom.
Yeah, I'm down right now.
Eu sou
But
grato.
it's not down to the point where I'm gonna be like hiding from fans and shit like that. I don't care about that.
E não chegou um
Like,
momento que eu vou
people's
começar a me
words can't
esconder
hurt
das
me.
coisas.
The only thing that can hurt me is the ones that are closest to me, and that's my loved ones, you know. So at the end of the day, dust myself off, get back on the horse. I've done it
No
before.
final do dia, vou juntar minhas coisas,
You train
montar no
under
cavalo de
the
novo
mighty
e
Ray
refazer tudo.
Longo, Matt Serra, and you have teammates like Angry Al and also Marab.
Angry Al.
Yeah, Angry Al. What advice did they give you? Because they've been through the process, obviously, and they had the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. What advice did they give you, especially after this?
Qual foi o conselho que o
Well, we
Merab te
haven't
deu
really,
depois
I don't think we
dessa
really
derrota?
actually talked like that yet. Just
A
you
gente
know,
não falou
it's
muito
the
sobre
fight
isso
game.
ainda.
You get caught.
Isso faz parte do jogo.
And I don't want to say I got caught because I feel like that's kind of taken away from Sean. He studied, he did what he planned to do. If I gave him that opening, and he took it.
O
So
Sean
it's not
estudou,
really
o
like
Sean
getting
fez o
caught.
que tinha
He
que ter feito.
landed a great place shot, and
Ele me lançou
you know,
golpe
I made a
perfeito.
mistake, and he
Eu
capitalized on it.
cometi erro e ele
I think that's
capitalizou em
just the
cima
game of
disso.
play. It's a game of inches. You know, I could have gotten to the leg, and that could have changed things. And maybe it's him in here on the sadder side of things, you know? So it's all just keeping in perspective. We've all been here before. We felt what it felt like to
Nós
lose,
todos já
to be
tivemos
knocked
aqui nessa
out, to be
posição
finished
antes.
in front of
De
millions.
se
It
tomar
ain't easy, man.
knockdown,
Putting
de
your
ser
heart on the sleeve
nocauteado
for the
em frente a
world to
milhares de
watch and
pessoas.
judge and criticize. But this is the game we play. This is the game I love.
Esse é o jogo que a gente
And,
joga,
I'll
essa é
be
a coisa que
glad
eu
to come out
amo.
here and do it again.
Eu tô feliz e vou ficar feliz em vir aqui e
Just
fazer
one
isso de
quick
novo.
question for you. Yeah, you come into Boston, New Yorker coming to Boston is never going to be popular. Add in that you're fighting an Irish guy in a really popular Irish neighborhood. Does the crowd ever get to you? I know you say, you know, you like to play the heel, but, I mean, you're still a human. I mean, when most of the crowd is cheering for him, does that get to you a little bit?
Nah, I mean, I think it makes it fun. There's a good guy and a bad guy. I don't know why I'm the bad guy, but I'm the bad guy.
É legal,
So it's
é
like,
legal
you
ter
just
essa
embrace it, have
rivalidade,
fun with
ter
it. I
esse
mean, it's kind of like a
terror
WWE
colocado sobre
kind of
ele, que
thing.
o Boston
I think
vaiou
we've all
ele.
kind of grew up
E
watching
ele
that.
falou que é
There's always
legal ter
someone you love to
cara
cheer
bom
for,
e o cara
someone
ruim,
you
mas
love
que
to
ele
hate.
estranha
And I
ser
think that's what
considerado
makes
como
it
um cara
fun.
ruim. Mas que isso é divertido pra ele.
I don't really look too much into that. I use the booze to kind of fuel me, you know?
Ele usa as vaias pra incentivá-lo.
I could have made that a boring fight and
Eu podia ter feito isso uma luta chata
be here right now.
e simplesmente vencido.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Mas faz parte.
No, it's a short answer. No, the booze they don't bother me. If anything,
Não,
it's,
as vaias não me incomodam.
I'm glad the crowd actually has a reaction, and it's different when they see
Eu
me on the
agradeço
street.
que a
Oh, we
plateia
love you,
reage.
and then when I walk out to the arena, it's boo, this man sucks. And I enjoy it. I embrace the moment. At the end
Quando eu
of the
entro
day,
na arena, as pessoas
one day
vaiam,
there's
mas
no
tô
one gonna be
tranquilo.
booing. There's no one gonna be
Eu curto
cheering.
isso.
It'll just be me, hopefully cheering for my kids on the sideline, being a happy dad. You know, so.
Mas depois disso
I think
tudo,
that's what
sou
life's
só
all
eu e os
about,
meus
man.
filhos.
Just taking the time out to smell the roses, and I'm definitely going to be sure to do that after
Eu vou
this tough
descansar
training
agora.
camp. back to back and
tive
take
treino
some
duro,
much
camp
needed
duro.
vacation time with my fiance.
Abri
She's
mão
done
das
nursing
minhas
school,
férias com a minha esposa.
and we both just moved to Vegas. I think it's
Nos
time
mudamos
we
para
go
Vegas.
hang out, go celebrate with some Funk Harbor tonight. It's not really a celebration,
Vamos
but
celebrar.
you know, just other accomplishments. And I'll be
Tem
in Sydney,
outras coisas que eu
Australia,
preciso
go
resolver.
watch the fights. Just be able to kick my feet back, unwind a little bit, and be like you guys. Just hang out, watch fights, talk a little shit, and drink a couple adult beverages. Thank you, guys.
Então é isso. O Aljamain Sterling aí se emocionando, falando da trajetória dele até aqui. Falando que não vai dar desculpas para a derrota dele, mas que ele tentou fazer uma luta emocionante e que se tivesse sido estratégico e ido na intenção de fazer uma luta chata, que talvez ele não tivesse nessa posição de derrotado. E que o Sean O'Malley tem uma movimentação muito boa, que ele não esperava que fosse ser tão difícil assim enfrentá-lo, mas que ele capitalizou com um golpe perfeito, que ele pagou caro pelo erro dele, e que é isso, né? Também destacou que a maior vontade dele no momento é realizar a revanche contra o O'Malley, não quer ir pro pena, não quer enfrentar outra pessoa, o que ele mais quer agora é uma revanche, né? Que ele mudaria sua estratégia na próxima luta, que ele treinaria com pessoas que se movimentassem mais parecido com o O'Malley fez agora, com essa caminhada lateral que o O'Malley fez. Então, é isso. Não quis dar desculpa, parabenizou o Sean O'Malley e cravou aí que ele quer revanche contra ele de novo.
E uma coisa que eu acho que é maneira também é de falar sobre a revanche, que, pô, como fica o nosso querido Merab de Valishvili. Porque, pô...
Isso eu acho que pecaram em não perguntar isso pra ele. Tipo, beleza, você quer a revanche, mas e o Merab? O que você vai fazer?
Exatamente. E aí? Qual que vai ser? Porque tá meio complicado.
Mas também, o Miguel, acho que ele pode falar, o Merab luta contra o Cerrudo pra ver quem vai ser o próximo desafiante, entendeu? E se ele vencesse o O'Malley na revanche, ele subiria de qualquer jeito, né?
Cara, mas aí estamos falando
mas vai atrasar muito.
De mais um ano aí do Merab esperando, tá ligado? E a gente sabe que time na MMA conta muito, cara. Imagina se o Merab perde o time, não vai ter oportunidade de ser campeão aí do UFC, de disputar o título do UFC e tudo mais. Se esse é amigo, imagina o inimigo, meu cara. Imagina o inimigo. Mas eu gostei, a gente estava falando da postura dele pós-luta na entrevista, mas eu gostei dele entender a realidade, cara. Que, pô, se ele bambeou com um poder de nocaute de um peso galo, imagina no poder de nocaute de um peso pena, né? É meio complicado.
Bom, chegou o Sean O'Malley.
Pô, o cara chegou com o cinturão lançado.
Sean, earlier this week you were saying that it kind of did feel like your story needed to see you win this title on Saturday, but you still had to go in there and beat Aljamain Sterling. You did that. I'm curious now that you have the belt in front of you if it feels like it was meant to be or if it feels a little bit surreal.
Yeah, it definitely feels surreal. Feels like I'm playing a video game and I just got cheat codes and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna knock out Aljo on the second Saturday.
Isso é uma loucura. É um sonho, porque eu tava jogando videogame, falei que ia nocautear o Sterling no segundo round e aconteceu.
I had that feeling. I don't know if I ever said that out loud.
Eu tinha esse pressentimento.
I feel like that fight could have kind of played out how I expected it to. My main goal was to not let him take me down, and I knew if I could keep it on the feet.
O meu objetivo principal era não ser quedado e eu consegui.
Praising your movement, your side-to-side movement, your ability to spin away from the kick when he would go for it against the cage. Did you kind of feel that if he got through the first round without being able to get you in the clinch or down, the second round he'd come out more aggressive and a bit more frustrated?
Yeah, I thought the longer the fight.
Você acha que pelo fato de não ter te quedado no primeiro round ele vem mais frustrado no segundo?
Him not being able to grab me. I thought he
Eu
was
acho que ele
way
se
too
frustrou e
confident
não
that he was
conseguiu
gonna
me
be able to come
agarrar.
in and just grab me.
I don't know if he's ever sparred someone as good as I am, or
Eu sei que ele
fought
estava
someone as good as I
confiante
am.
que ele ia
I
vir
truly
aqui e
believe
me
I'm,
agarrar da maneira que
you
ele
know,
quisesse.
a level above most people in the striking department, and I just felt like he was very confident.
Ele estava muito
Because he had
confiante.
never experienced, it wasn't his fault. He just never experienced someone that fast.
Porque
in
ele
front of
nunca
him.
experimentou ninguém como eu
the
sou.
right hand that put him down, did you think, and that's a wrap, or did you think, okay, hold on, stay composed, get this finished properly?
It's so weird. I just kind of allow myself to be
Na hora que
taken
você
over by
socou
my
ele, que
higher
ele
self,
caiu,
and
você
it's
ficou
hard
com
to
medo de ir
remember
pra dentro de
certain
uma
moments
armadilha
in
ou você
there
falou,
because I
beleza,
feel
vou
like I
acabar
was
com isso agora?
flowing. I do remember
Não sei, eu vi
seeing his
turbilhão
eyes
de coisas
roll
na
back
hora.
like 3 or 4 times, and I was surprised the ref didn't step in. Not that he should have, but I thought he could have. But I was just so tough, man.
You
Eu
said
fiquei
quite
surpreso
honestly that
como
you
o
never
árbitro
had nerves
interrompeu.
like it, right? Well, do you think that was just because,
Não, acho,
oh shit,
não
the
que ele
title
não
shot is
deveria, mas
finally
eu fiquei
here, or was it
surpreso. O auge é
Aljamain's
muito
style? What
duro.
was it about it that made tonight a nerve-wracking experience?
Dude, I haven't grappled in 6 weeks. I had a muscle strain, and I literally
Eu
couldn't grapple
tenho
in 6
feito
weeks. Couldn't
grappling
MMA
durante
spar.
6 últimas semanas.
I was the main event in Boston. There was no shot I was pulling out, but we haven't grappled in 6 weeks. 6 weeks from the date from today, I hurt my I had a muscle strain right under my rib, and I couldn't
não.
grapple. And
Ele
so
não,
coming
ele não
into this
treinou
fight, fighting
grappling nas
Aljo,
últimas 6
every time I did
semanas.
interviews and I was saying it's life or death. I
Ele
cannot
teve
get
problema na
taken down.
costela dele e não
Because I didn't
conseguiu
know if this
treinar
would hold
grappling
up,
durante
and
essas
it's
últimas 6
fucking
semanas.
sore right now, and I don't know if it was from a kick or just from the little bit of scramble or the little bit
Tá
of
doendo
grappling we
muito minha
did.
costela. Eu não
But
sei
it's
se foi um chute que eu
definitely
tomei ou se
there's,
foi
it's not super painful, but
alguma
it
coisa na luta
definitely feel it.
agarrada.
So,
Mas tá doendo muito.
dealing with those mental demons coming into this fight, knowing I was
Lidar com esses demônios na minha mente,
ish, like I
com
was, I
essa,
literally,
com
you know,
essa
we didn't
lesão,
grapple one day in the last
é
6 weeks.
difícil.
Didn't grapple at all fight week, and I kept saying in every interview, it's life or death if he takes me down. And I was
É por isso que eu dizia toda entrevista, isso é vida ou morte, porque eu não treinei grappling durante as últimas 6 semanas nenhum dia.
Went in the cage with the nerves and came out with that belt, you must have a sort of sense of, I can pretty much do anything if I really put my mind to it.
Yeah, crazy sense of relief that it's just like, holy shit, I got through that. I didn't get taken down, and it's like, I knew the odds. I knew I was capable of it 100%. I've had really good, you know, sparring days before that where I was really good at not getting taken down. So I knew I was capable of it.
Eu sabia que eu tinha boas chances de não ser quedado porque antes dessa minha lesão, eu tive sparrings onde eu não era quedado.
So the fact that it just played out like that is just mind-blowing.
You pretty much called your shot next, right? You want to rematch with Chidavera later this year?
Yeah, I thought, you know, let's shoot a promo, but we'll see. He just the way he acts, he's so annoying. Just like he's not funny, and he tries to be. He's so ugly. He dresses like an idiot. It's like, God, do I
Sua
really
próxima
have to
luta
give this guy
contra
an
o Chito
opportunity?
vai
Even
ser.
like, well, probably
Você
just go
quer
out
que
there and
seja
whoop
contra o
his ass, make a lot
Chito
of money, so I
em
could.
dezembro? Pô, não sei, cara, é muito chato.
So yeah, that could be it. I also wouldn't mind knocking
Ele é
out
chato,
Devontae
se
Davis,
veste
and I know
mal.
people are gonna go, oh,
Mas pode
you
ser.
want to be Conor. I'm telling you, that fight.
Eu não quero escolher lutadores, vamos falar que eu sou igual o Conor.
Stick to MMA. Should you beat Cheeto, would you need to do a trilogy, or would you consider that 2-0?
No, that would it would be 1-0. I feel like we've never even fought. I'm not. When I count my record of
Se você
18-0
derrotar o
now,
Chito,
you
você
know,
vai querer
that's
fazer uma
not even, that
trilogia?
Cheeto fight's not even on there.
Não, não
That's not
sei, eu
even
nem conto como uma derrota.
It's not it's nothing. The Sugar State Athletic Commission completely
Não tá 1 a
cleared
0,
that
não
of
foi uma
all
derrota aquilo.
everything, and that fight never even happened.
A luta nunca aconteceu.
Wanted to do an immediate rematch. That's his like main priority.
Você quer fazer uma revanche imediata?
His weight cuts are too hard.
No,
Ele não falou que é pelas pernas, que estava difícil o peso dele?
Next question.
Não, próxima pergunta.
As far as Chito, like obviously you guys have history, but how big do you think that fight can be? Because I mean, it
Como
seems
você acha
that
que
it can set
o quão
itself
grande
up
você acha
for
que
like a
seria
big
uma revanche
pay-per-view.
contra o Chito Vera?
This was already what I'm being told is the biggest bantamweight fight in history. This already happened.
Seria
It was the
a maior
biggest
luta do
fight
peso
before the
galo.
fight even happened. I was hearing this, you know, days before the fight that this was projected to be the biggest bantamweight fight of all time. You guys think it was because Aljo was on there? Aljo versus Henry happened a couple months ago. No one said nothing about that. So me versus Cheeto rematch would be fucking massive.
How much do you think that belt's gonna help you like
uma
boost
revanche entre
your
o Chito seria
profile
imensa,
and
seria
stardom? Like,
gigante.
what do you think the ceiling is here?
Oh God. I think billionaire status someday now. I feel like, you know, I want to be out there gambling with Dana. This dude's throwing around a couple $250,000 just for shits and giggles.
And back to your comments on Gervonta Davis. Boxing, we're talking about your.
Oh, of course.
Tá falando sobre o Devonta Davis
I
do
would love
boxe.
to. He's fucking this
Ele
tall. Dude.
adoraria
I would
lutar
love to
contra
go
o
out there
Devonta
and
Davis no
You've
boxe.
seen him in person, right? Like you guys have had interactions.
I've never seen him in person.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah.
Eu nunca vi
How far do you
pessoalmente
see
o
that
Devonta.
happening? Like in the near future?
I mean, I feel like it could happen sooner than later.
Isso
But
pode
I also
acontecer
know, like,
cedo ou
okay,
tarde.
well, you know, UFC is down to get behind stuff like that if it's big
Mas
enough.
o UFC eu sei que tá por
I mean,
trás
with
disso
that
pra fazer
performance,
alguma
we're
coisa.
getting close. But maybe I have to go out there, win a couple more fights, win another belt. I don't know if he's
Talvez
even
eu vença
considered a
algumas
big enough star for
lutas,
the UFC to let that happen.
me torne uma grande estrela para
But
isso acontecer.
it'll happen. And people always, I mean, I said this was going to happen years ago, and I got so much
Eu falei
shit
que isso
saying I was going to be
acontecia
champ,
anos
I'm going to be the next
atrás,
big star, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that.
que eu
I
seria
got
o
so
grande
much hate and
estrela.
shit for it, but
Ganhei muito hate por
look
causa
at me
disso,
now.
fui muito odiado por causa
Are
disso.
you getting any
E
tattoos?
estamos aí.
You know, sort
I
of.
might get champ on my face somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eu vou tatuar campeão na minha cara em algum lugar.
In
I dominated.
Eu
Dominated that
dominei
first
ele no
round. He didn't
primeiro
touch
round.
me. I ran into a
Ele nem me
door earlier
tocou.
this week. That's why my nose is red. I was water loading because fight week, you get a water load, drink so much water. So I was getting up to pee in the middle of the night. Boom, ran right into a door. So that's why my face is a little bit red. But no, he threw a lot of leg kicks. A lot
me
of
deu
them were
muitos
just
chutes nas
shin to shin.
pernas.
So I'm like,
Muita
I mean,
canela
they
com
didn't really
canela.
do much as far as like he shouldn't. I don't know. What do you guys think? My goal was don't take me down in the first round.
O que vocês acharam? Eu não sei. O meu objetivo era não ser quedado no primeiro round. Eu fiz isso. Todos os três fizeram pra ele. Tá, mas o que aconteceu no segundo round?
And I'm sure you're going to get this comparison all the time, but DC even brought up the split screen of your KO next to Connor's KO with Aldo because it was the same cross and lunging in.
Estão
So
comparando o seu
are you
nocaute
prepared
com o
for even
do
more
Conor
comparisons
no Aldo.
with
O que
Conor
você
McGregor?
acha disso?
Yeah, I mean, Connor's a high-level striker. I'm a high-level
O
striker.
Conor é
Even the
trocador
warm,
de alto
like
nível.
when I was in
Eu
the
sou de
octagon
alto
and he
nível
was making
também.
his walkout, boom. I'm sure people will find the replays of it. I was stepping back, throwing that right hand the
As
exact
pessoas
same way
vão
it
comparar e
landed.
vão ver que é igual. Eu
I
dei um
say you
passo
make
para
one
trás e
mistake with me
soquei.
and I'm gonna find your chin and it could be over.
Se você
And it
cometer
was.
erro comigo, eu
And
vou achar o
outside
seu
of Cheeto,
queixo.
are there any other bantamweights that even interest you in terms of
Tem
like,
alguém,
that,
além do
you see
Cheeto,
like
que
that
te
could be a
interessa
very
enfrentar?
big fight on like a massive level?
Que você acha que seria uma grande luta?
Sean, over here to your right.
Devonta Smith.
You were probably warming up for your fight. Did you see Cheeto's fight tonight? Did you watch any of it?
Você viu a luta do Marlon hoje?
I'm gonna waste my time watching that. No, I
Não,
was
eu
in the
vou perder
back.
meu tempo
I
vendo
looked up
isso.
about 15 seconds out of the whole fight. I don't really like watching fights.
Tá,
before
beleza.
my
Eu acho que eu
fight.
vi os 15 segundos da última luta.
I did.
Acho
I
que eu vi
looked up to see that he
15
won.
segundos
I
da
was
luta
like, okay,
dele.
yeah, fuck yeah, this is perfect. But how was it? Was it entertaining? Was it fun? Was it Cheeto
Mas como é que foi?
fight?
Foi bom? Foi
Boring. Okay.
Foi legal? É, não, foi chato, né?
Also, I guess, you know, there's obviously, since you've come into the UFC, everybody's had an opinion about you, how good is he. When you get in there and you do something like you did tonight, I mean, does that meet your expectations? Do you even sometimes exceed your own expectations?
Yeah, I definitely just exceeded my expectations. Like to go out
Eu
there and
passei
actually do it like that.
expectativas, eu
It's fucking
superei minhas
crazy. But there's
expectativas.
still gonna be the haters on Twitter. There's still gonna be
Mas
the
sempre vão ter
bantamweights that are.
pessoas me
Yeah,
odiando no
but
Twitter.
before I fought Peter, I was like, this dude's not can't beat Peter. It's Peter Yan. You can't beat him.
Antes
Go
de
out
eu
there,
lutar
outstrike
contra o
him, beat him,
Peter,
fighting Aljo. I had like I don't know the odds, but I bet I wasn't a favorite in this fight going into it. Everyone was counting me out, and then I go out there and do that. I could fight whoever next, and
tá.
it's gonna be like, yeah, but so this is just how it is.
Ele tá falando que sempre vão duvidar dele antes das lutas, que foi assim com o Peter, que foi assim com o Aljamain, que qualquer pessoa que ele for enfrentar vão tratar ele como azarão.
Only one guy over there picked you. Everyone else picked against you.
E vão mesmo.
Is that a Montana fella?
That said,
Só uma
obviously,
pessoa aqui nessa sala achou que você fosse
the
ganhar
experts were
do
against
Sterling.
you. You
Ele foi
know,
cara da sua
the betting
cidade.
odds against you. What's your response to the people who
O
doubted
que
you?
você acha disso?
It makes me laugh. Not because I mean,
Isso
to
me
be
faz
honest,
rir,
if I wasn't me and I was looking at me versus Aljo, I probably would have put money on Aljo too. Like he was.
Se fosse eu
He beat Peter
e visse
Yan
o confronto,
twice.
provavelmente eu apostaria no
He
auge.
beat TJ Dillashaw. He beat Henry Cejudo.
Ele bateu o Peter
He's got a
Yan,
nine-fight
ele
win
bateu
streak.
no
He was
TJ,
dominating the bantamweight division,
Ele
the
foi
best bantamweight of all
dominante
time. Defended the belt 3 times.
nos
And then I'm
galos.
coming up. My best win was against Peter Yan in a very,
E
very
aí eu
close
chego
fight.
com minha vitória só
I mean,
sobre
the
o Peter
odds,
Yan.
You know, I would have probably bet against me too if I didn't
Então,
know
provavelmente
me
eu
and know the
apostaria contra mim
confidence that I
também.
possess.
That said, on the flip side, when you look down in the arena, walking on the streets, I mean, it seemed like everybody was walking around with a Sugar Show shirt or some kind of
Você vê
thing
na rua
supporting
todo
you.
mundo andando com
What do you
camisa
have
do
to say
Sugar
to this,
Show,
like, you have this cult
com
following
outdoor
of
seu.
people,
O que você acha disso?
I know the Bantamweight Championship merch is already going fucking crazy right now.
Eu vou fazer uma roupa com a logo de
I remember I was at
campeão
Conor,
e isso vai ser uma
Habib,
loucura.
or no, I I was at some fight and I was sitting in the stands like pretty high up in T-Mobile, and it was right when I got in the UFC. I think it was after I fought Soccer Mom, and I was like, there's gonna be a time where I literally can't even walk into this arena without security. And now just looking out,
Chegou uma hora que eu não
being the main
conseguia
event,
andar na
seeing
arena
everyone
sem
wearing the Sugar merch is
seguranças.
fucking wild.
E hoje em dia o merchan do Sugar tá imenso,
Sean, so
tá
I
gigante.
want to go back to when you walked into the octagon, because right, you got to that top step, embraced the crowd, took a lap or two around, and we were literally watching you practice that step back counter right hand. Was that something that you visualized as a fight ender, or something that you could really take advantage of?
I mean, punching backwards is a skill not a lot of people possess, and I can punch going backwards, and I knew he was going to be
Socar
pressuring me.
andando para trás
And I
é uma
know
coisa
he
que muitas
likes
pessoas
to
não
throw to
podem
shoot. He
fazer, e
likes
eu
to
consigo
throw
fazer
to,
isso
for me to
muito
counter so we
bem.
can shoot under. So I knew he was going to be lunging in with shots, and it really wasn't even a bad punch that he threw. It's just I'm not fucking accurate and sniped him. I've been saying
Não
it all
foi
week. I'm a
soco ruim que ele
sniper.
me deu, foi
I'm
só
gonna
que eu
snipe
sou
his chin. I'm
sniper.
gonna find it. And there
Eu
we
achei o
were, but
queixo
yeah,
dele.
that's definitely a punch I visualized all
Mas
week.
foi soco que eu visualizo toda semana. Eu faço esse movimento toda semana.
Once the fight was called off, what were the first thoughts through your head, and what were you thinking? What was that feeling like?
Is this real? Am I gonna fucking wake up in my hotel bed, be pissed off that this isn't real? Like, is this really fucking happening right now? Did that really just happen the way I pictured it and planned it to happen? Am I in a fucking movie? Then I was like, no, this is real.
Thank you.
O que
Congratulations.
você pensou?
Right. Just we talked
Depois
earlier
que
this
você se
week
tornou
about
campeão,
Helena
ele
coming from
pensou
a
que
smaller
podia
town
estar
and
sonhando,
how it
mas
kind
que
of
não,
molded you. So
era
when you
real.
look back at where that career started, fighting in like hotel conference rooms, some different places, fighting 3 times in a month, to where you are now with that belt. Just how can you describe this journey and where you've come from to get to this point?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't an overnight. This has been 12 years. I started kickboxing when I was 16 years old.
Tem 12 anos que
And
eu
then,
faço
in Montana,
kickboxing.
and moved to Phoenix when I was 18, and it's been 2-a-days. Like I've
Montana-
dedicated my life to this sport. I know you guys see the hair,
Eu dediquei minha vida a esse
beautiful
esporte.
pink Lamborghini, the houses
Tem uma
and all the
Lamborghini
fun
rosa
stuff. But
linda.
I'm
Tem
working,
uma
I'm
casa
grinding, I'm in
irada.
the gym. I'm
Tô
losing, I'm
crescendo,
getting
tô indo-
beat every single day, so I can come out here and win. And
Eu tô
yeah, so
tomando
it's,
surra
but
na
being
academia
from,
todo dia para vir
Montana,
pra cá.
it was
Então tô
it
representando
molded me
muito
for
bem
sure.
Montana.
Does that grind make this more special? Just knowing that it wasn't an orthodox.
100%. It wouldn't feel like this if I just got lucky. I don't feel like I got lucky. This is skill and hard work.
Eu não acho que eu tenha tido sorte, isso foi muito treino para eu fazer esse movimento.
I hope they were recording it because I want to fucking watch.
And then just last question for me, just in that moment with your family and there, big hugs for everybody all around. They all get to celebrate. Just how can you even describe?
Você abraçou sua família, você comemorou com eles,
Yeah,
como é
I'm
que foi?
glad they got good seats right there and we're able to be in the
Fico
octagon
feliz
with
que
me
eles
after.
tenham ido, que eles
It's a
estavam lá nesse
moment
momento.
I've been thinking about for a long time, and to see the
Foi momento que eu
just,
tava pensando há
shock on
muito tempo.
on their face, like holy shit, he did it. Like it was really cool to be
E
able to
foi legal
embrace
ver o
that with
choque
them.
deles, pensando, caraca, ele fez isso.
Thank you.
One question from me. In your humble opinion, are you going to be on
sua
SportsCenter
humilde
Top 10
opinião.
tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Sean over here. Congratulations on the win. So obviously coming from Montana, that's a big fight state. I mean, you got Kai Stewart who won the BKFC championship.
Next question.
Oh,
That kid sucks.
oh, fair enough.
He's in my DMs talking shit. I'm like, what? I don't even know this
Ele
kid.
tava falando de algum lutador que vem de Montana. O Xanomali não gosta do cara e cortou a pergunta dele.
From your victory.
Mas
Yeah,
agora
I'm
tá
sure they're
dando a chance
pumped.
de
You know,
perguntar de novo.
I've had probably 20 fights in Montana as an amateur boxing, kickboxing, MMA.
Ele tá falando sobre a trajetória dele vindo de Montana, que ele já lutou em Montana 20 vezes.
I got a lot of experience and a lot of confidence from those fights.
And how
Ele
you
tem
feel
experiências lá
being
naquela
that
cidade.
next marquee name? Obviously, everyone brought up Conor McGregor and everything like that. You have 3 million followers on Instagram. Obviously, you're a very marketable gentleman. But how does it feel to be that next poster child for the UFC, that next poster kid?
Como você se sente se na
obviously,
próxima
that
aposta
next
de
marquee
estrelato
name?
do UFC?
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That's what that means. Feels good. I've been telling. You can go
Me
watch my
sinto
interview
bem.
before the Contender Series, before I was even in the UFC. I said, watch.
Se você
this
for
is
ver
gonna
minha
happen.
entrevista depois do Contender,
Literally,
antes de entrar no UFC, era
basically
isso.
explained how my career is going to play out in a
Eu
couple
tava
sentences.
explicando como é que a
Here
minha
we are.
carreira ia acontecer.
Thank you.
Here, you're right. What is it about Gervonta Davis in particular that winds you up so much?
He's.
O que te
he's
motiva a enfrentar o
I don't
Gervonta
really follow
Davis?
boxing, but I've heard of Gervonta Davis, and
Eu não amo o boxe, mas
I
eu
think he's
sigo
undefeated.
o Devonta, eu vejo a trajetória dele.
I'm about to pay. I want to have crazy, massive fights. That shit gets me excited. I love that stuff. And
quero ter as maiores lutas, é isso que
there's
me
no
motiva.
stars in the bantamweight division.
Não tem estrelas no peso
Devontae, you
galo.
consider him like almost a star, and that's what gets me
Devontae
excited.
é
Me versus
considerado uma
Devontae would be
estrela.
fucking massive. T-Mobile, or
Então
here,
seria
fuck it.
gigante uma luta com ele na
A lot of the celebrities
T-Mobile
in the crowd
Arena.
as well. Obviously, you have the Nelk boys, Mike, May, like all these different people. I mean, it seems like the stars are out in force for you as well.
Yeah, I'm good buddies with Mike and the Nelk boys, and they're probably waiting for me to come slam some happy dads right now. Boom. Fuck yeah. Thank you, guys.
Então é isso. Pô, Miguel, o pessoal batendo bastante na tecla aí da cidade dele de Montana, que eu acho que, enfim, nada relevante. Ele falou que uma luta contra o Marlon Vera seria a maior luta do peso galo, né? Que as pessoas achavam que o Henry Cejudo e o Aljamain fosse ser, mas que, pô, isso não é nada, né? E aí falaram, se você vencer o Marlon, você vai dar uma trilogia para ele. E ele falou que não, porque para ele não existiu a primeira luta, não existiu derrota, que aquilo não é considerado derrota, então que para ele só uma luta basta para ele decidir a história dele com o Marlon Vera. E quando perguntaram sobre uma revanche imediata contra o Aljamain, ele falou que não queria falar sobre isso e, enfim, pulou a pergunta para ir para outra.
Cara, ele, final das contas, respondeu ali o que convém a ele, né? Ele entrou meio em contradição uma hora, né? Falou que não se importava tanto em escolher lutas, porque ele não queria ser o Conor McGregor, mas logo depois da luta ele pediu o Marlon Vera. Então,
exatamente.
Na coletiva também acabou citando. Então, tipo assim, em alguns momentos ele entrou em contradição. Ele tem esse jeito dele, eu não sei explicar, cara, a palavra correta, mas ignorou algumas perguntas, cortou algumas perguntas antes mesmo de ser feitas e tudo mais. Esse jeitão dele, parece que não é o personagem, parece que ele é assim mesmo. Mas agora ele é o campeão, né, cara?
Uma coisa que ele quiser.
Não necessariamente, mas sim. Mas é uma coisa que eu acho que é importante que ele falou e é verdade, tipo, todo mundo duvidou dele e possivelmente vão continuar duvidando. Vão achar que foi um golpe de sorte, que ele não fez por merecer e tudo mais, da mesma forma que duvidaram dele contra os outros lutadores, Petrian, dessa vez, enfim. E a tendência é que seja essa mesmo, independente de quem ele enfrente. Talvez ele apareça como azarão novamente na próxima luta. Mas vamos ver. Da mesma forma que o Aljamain começou a ser respeitado pela rapaziada do MMA, quem sabe com algumas vitórias aí, o Sean O'Malley não começa a ser respeitado também. Vamos ver.
Exatamente. Mas eu achei legal também ele falando que tinha previsto toda essa trajetória de sucesso dele desde a entrevista que ele deu no Contender, né? E é aquela coisa marcante que ele fala que quando ele vence no Contender, né? Que ele sobe lá na grade e fala que é o Sugar Show, né? Que é o tempo dele lá, que é o... Esqueci a frase que ele falou. Acho que é isso, né, Miguel? Aquela comemoração que ele faz no Contender, que ele fala, o Sugar Show, né? Alguma coisa assim. Né? Ele falando que cravou desde essa época aí que ele ia ter sucesso no UFC. E, bom, gostei, Miguel. Gostei da atitude dele. É chato, né? E essa questão dele cortar algumas perguntas, acaba dando uma imagem de marrentão. A gente sabe que ele é marrento, mas desrespeitoso, né? Digamos assim. O que acaba não sendo muito bem visto. Mas é isso. Não cravou sua próxima luta, desconversou sobre revanche, demonstrou interesse no Marlon, então vamos ver o que vai ser, né? Para ser sincero, para falar a verdade, quando ele falou do Sterling, ele falou, mas o Sterling não ia subir de peso, não estava tendo problema para cortar peso, então aí ele falou assim, então falou isso e depois falou, próxima pergunta, né? Não vou falar sobre isso agora. Então deixou em aberto aí.
Bom, ele foi inteligente nessa cutucada no Sterling, né? Assim, o cara falava uma coisa antes da luta, mas aí como foi derrotado, quer manter na categoria e tudo mais. Próxima luta do Sterling vai ser complicado, cara. Vai ser complicado porque se ele disputa o cinturão de novo, Merab fica sobrando. Vamos ver o que o futuro nos reserva sobre a categoria do peso galo. Para quem chegou até aqui, deixa o like, se inscreve no canal do Super Lutas, dá essa moral para nós, fortalece aí em mais uma coletiva de imprensa. Deixa o like, meu povo. Meu querido Leonardo Guimarães, 4 horas e 12 minutos. Vou pedir só as últimas palavras, meu caro, pra gente encerrar mais uma.
Acabou, né? Tô viajando, tô achando que vai ter mais alguém, mas acabou. Que bom. Fechamos tudo, então, com sucesso mais uma vez. Queria agradecer, então, o pessoal que está aqui 4h10 da manhã com a gente, seguindo com a coletiva. Obrigado pela presença de todo mundo. Semana que vem teremos um card do UFC Singapura, num horário mais cedo. Então, a gente se vê lá. E é isso. Obrigado pela presença. Obrigado pelo companheiro no chat aí. Um abraço para o mestre Marcão, para o Marcos Vinícius, Caio Bittencourt, Marcos Black, Lucas Nova, enfim, todo mundo que marcou presença aí nessa madrugada e ao longo do evento, é claro. E fiquem com a gente, sigam o Super Lutas, se inscrevam no canal e compartilhem, que a gente tem muita coisa maneira para ouvir aí.
Exatamente. Muito obrigado a todo mundo que nos acompanhou em mais uma segunda tela do Super Lutas, em mais uma coletiva do Super Lutas. Boa noite para todo mundo, boa madrugada e um bom dia para vocês aí também. Superlutas.com.br para você se manter 100% atualizado do que rolou na coletiva de imprensa, do que rolou no pós-evento, as repercussões, enfim. Corre lá no superlutas.com.br. Segunda-feira, 19h30, podcast do Super Lutas. Eu e VH Gonzaga debateremos aí o que rolou no mundo das artes marciais nesses últimos dias, o que rolou de repercussão desse UFC 292, beleza? Muito obrigado a todos, valeu, até a próxima.